And even when we hit that 2 screen, it's still subtle. Mine's like this big clunky ass arm.
Man, I end up I think it's all right, but I end up getting the stand. You know how yours is connected to the desk.
Yeah.
I went and got the stand, and that was I wanted it, so it would kind of like even how this points up a little bit. I like for it to be a little straighter, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But or even to go down. But yeah, the stand is what I end up doing. So I can also, make love to the stand. Like I'm what was his name? Thunder Early in Dreamgirls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Appreciate it, David. Like I always say, I don't have no issues with the A's, man.
But that ain't them Oakland A's though.
It's
that ain't them Oakland A's though. That's that boy Reese's team.
Yeah, man. Oakland A's. I ain't got no problem with Oakland A's either. Like I said, they got a problem with us. And we ain't even tripping. We worry about the Dodgers. But they don't like us. But I ain't got no problem with the A's. I just made an executive decision. It's like I gotta get my hat game up a little bit, man.
Okay.
I gotta get my hat game up. So maybe that's something that I build up over the months as time goes along.
I like it on. Let's go ahead and get that thumbs up. Boom. That. No, that's cap, David. Not real. Not real. There's only one compound.
Oh, no. That's right. There's only one compound. And it ain't in Elk Grove. I know that much.
247. 247 is the house show. Right after
the name. The house show. I like that.
Yeah, that's Bryce had all the ideas. No, yeah, sorry to spoil the fun, man. I'm back here today. Sorry.
There's not 13. There's not a lot to talk about with 13 round though. I will say that.
Yeah, we got it. So what's great is what you see is set up. What you can't see, not so much. Like I did a lot of work in here yesterday, but it's like, okay, the important stuff is done. I'll get to everything else later, and then I just kind of move on to something else.
Pick and choose your battles.
Yeah, especially when there's so damn much to do. And starting tomorrow, like I got a podcast with Jill tomorrow. I got
back.
Yeah, I got Matt. What's good, baby? Welcome into the Tuesday, July 13th edition of D-Lo and KC. I'm Damian Barling. He's Kenny Caraway.
Yes, sir.
And we are thrilled that you are here with us. Plenty of ways you could take part in the show live on the Odyssey app. You can just search ESPN 1320, hit the heart button there. It saves us as your favorite radio station. You could watch on twitch.tv/ESPN 1320 and youtube.com/ESPN 1320. And of course, you can listen on 1320 AM. But no matter how you're hanging out with us, we're thrilled that you're here. There's plenty to talk about today, despite this traditionally being a slow time in sports. It doesn't have that vibe. Normally, the day before the All-Star game, the day after the All-Star game, there ain't much happening. And quite honestly, normally on the day of the All-Star game, there's nothing happening. But there's a lot happening today, Casey. There's a lot happening this week. There's a lot happening in the world of basketball. Mm-hmm. There are some rumors about your Sacramento Kings as well for the first time from a substantiated source. Marc Stein of the New York Times said, yeah, Kings, they've made a call about Ben Simmons. A number of other teams did, including, I think Toronto was in there. Cleveland was in there. Couple of teams have inquired about Ben Simmons, and Sacramento was thrown into that mix, much to the chagrin of my partner. I'm assuming.
Well, okay, let's calm down. Let's calm down just a little bit.
Okay, I'll calm down.
Initially,
my mistake.
I'm just saying. Initially, when I first heard it, I walked out of the press conference like LeBron.
Do better tomorrow.
Yeah.
No.
And then I thought about it for a second, and I said, okay, let me, if something is being offered or if a deal ever goes down, let me just see what it is first before I trip out. Mm-hmm. If it's our universal deal of Bagley, Buddy, and the 9, and you might even have to throw a future in there, I wouldn't be crazy about that future. I wouldn't be crazy about the 9. But look, I've said it plenty of times. You guys don't like to listen to me when I say this. But I've said it plenty of times.
Sorry.
I'm not saying Ben Simmons is a scrub. I'm not saying he doesn't bring any redeemable qualities to a basketball team. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I wouldn't give the house for him. Now, if you're giving a Bagley, Buddy.
What about the condo?
9,
duplex?
I don't know about duplex, maybe.
Apartment. Would you give the apartment for him?
Well, what do you consider Bagley, Buddy, in the 9? Is that an apartment? Is that a duplex?
That's a condo.
It's a
condo. Maybe a small house.
Maybe a condo.
Maybe a small ranch style house.
Okay. And here's why I don't say it's a small house, because now I know Marvin Bagley. I'm the one that's tantalized by his talent. Yes, I'm the one that believes in what he could be.
You're also the one who draws the ire of his entire team. But that's
I don't know. I don't know why that is. I have no idea.
Maybe it's the head that wears the crown.
But even with all that said, if you gave up Ben Simmons for those 3 pieces, no disrespect.
Oh, jeez.
You're not giving it up for anything. You're not losing much. Bagley's not around to play anyway. And Buddy, there's no room for him. So, I mean, sure, cross your fingers with Ben Simmons if you want to for that particular package. Now, once you start talking about Halliburton or Fox, get out of my face.
Yeah. Which I think those are the only 2 guys that move the needle. And it's, Marc Stein reported those names. I'm not particularly sure for what reason that he threw those teams in there. I just can't imagine that out of the entire league, only those, 4 teams have called. You know what I mean? Like for some reason he was comfortable enough or had enough information or whatever it may be to mention Sacramento and Cleveland and Toronto. And was Minnesota the other one?
Minnesota, yeah.
But I don't imagine, again, in the league with, 30 teams, take away the Philadelphia 76ers, 29 teams. I can't imagine that those were the only 4 teams that called and said, hey, what's going on with Ben Simmons? He didn't play well. What can I help me help you? What can I do to help? Those 4 teams, I don't think are the only one.
Well, I would agree. They're not the only ones, but I will say this. I don't think this is where we'll probably disagree.
Okay.
Although you guys need to start listening to me. I told you.
Oh yes.
He should have been on the trade market. I told you Daryl Morey was going to move on from him. I told you that.
Stop patting yourself on the back long enough to get to whatever your point was.
I told you, as I pat myself on the back. I don't think any of these championship contenders, they ain't trying to make no move for Ben Simmons. They're not.
Really?
No. Why would it name, just off the top of my head, I hadn't even brainstormed this, name a championship contender or a entrenched playoff team that would want to add Ben Simmons?
Well, I asked you this last week. Why wouldn't Golden State try? Like every deficiency you feel Ben Simmons has, you can mask. You can mask if you're the Golden State Warriors, perhaps as good as any other team. If you're Portland, now I know Portland isn't yet a champ. I know Portland isn't a championship team. Mm-hmm. If they acquire one of their weaknesses, arguably their biggest weakness, is they're neck and neck in terms of awfulness on the defensive side of the ball with the Sacramento Kings. Mm-hmm. Why not Portland making a move? Now, I don't know what Portland has to offer outside you'd probably have to include both Nurkic and CJ and some assets in the future just to pair him with Dame, which, brings that team down a little bit. You're going to need to have a shooter. Maybe you acquire Buddy Hield from Sacramento in some way, shape, or form. But, in terms of contenders, you told me Golden State was a contender. I believe they're going to be competitive next year. I think if you could move Draymond Green, bring in Ben Simmons, I'm sure that, some other pieces needed to be moved, but Steph and Clay being your focus with now Ben Simmons out there, I think you hide a lot of the deficiencies that he has, and you can maximize his strengths that way.
I'll give you the Warriors, and Draymond is the move to make. Draymond's the only move to make in that situation.
I don't care what you do with the Warriors. You can't move Steph and Clay. Like that's the anchor to this thing working.
No, but in that particular case, Draymond's the only move to make with Ben Simmons. You can't have a team with Ben Simmons and Draymond Green.
Of course not. Right. Right.
So
absolutely.
That's a good team. The Warriors, Portland. If I was Portland, I wouldn't do that for Ben Simmons. Yeah, he's a really good defender, but that's not going to improve you. That's not going to get you where you're trying to get. In that case, you might as well keep CJ and Nurkic.
So does he not improve Sacramento?
Yeah, but Sacramento's not a championship contender.
Well, no, I understand that, but you're talking about teams improving. I don't know if Portland's a championship contender either, but we talk about teams improving. Golden State probably is a championship-ish contender as it stands now. I won't go too far, but I do. Everyone healthy, I believe they're in the conversation next year.
Oof, that's a lot on Clay.
It is. No, it is. It's a lot on it. It is. It definitely is. I think they're like a for real championship contender, like Laker. You're up there with the Lakers. You're up there competing with the Lakers. We'll see what happens with the Phoenix Suns next year. But you're up there with the Lakers in terms of championship contenders if you acquire Ben Simmons, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so.
1 minute till money, by the way. 1 minute till money.
I think Ben Simmons can make the Kings better. He can. Will he? I don't know. I'm not in the team of he's definitely going to make them better. I don't know, because he's got to show me some with the deficiencies and the things that I don't like about his game improving. I don't trust that he improves it. If Ben Simmons comes the way he played last year, especially in the playoffs, that don't make this team better. But does he get better? Does he learn from it?
Well, hopefully. The playoffs were that was arguably the worst. Not even arguably. It's not arguable. It was the worst we saw of Ben Simmons.
That was the third straight playoffs we've seen it at, though.
Not that
that's my concern. It's been Toronto, it was Boston, Toronto, and now this one. 3 straight playoffs of this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
It's time for the Summer of Cash contest. Your first of 4 opportunities to win $1,000 here today with D-Lo and KC. All you have to do is text the code word MELODY to 72881. That's MELODY. Check out my melody.
Hey.
72881. This is a multi-state contest. Message and data rates apply. And remember, don't text and drive.
The
Ben
reason
Simmons
why
has won a lot of cash contests. Go ahead.
He definitely has. The reason why I say contender, not a lot of contenders being interested in Ben Simmons, because there's levels to it, right? So if you're a contender, I don't know if I'd touch him because of the playoff stuff and what he's shown when the game slows down in the playoffs, not being able to adjust, not being able to show up. If you're the Sacramento Kings, Minnesota Timberwolves, Cleveland Cavs, you just want to get to the playoffs. Sure.
Well,
sure.
Think about what you just said, and then throw Toronto in there. Those are all teams that miss the playoffs, right?
Yep.
I mean, so we're in I don't care. I'm assuming Daryl Morey doesn't care whether you're a championship contender or not. That's not my business. What do you have to offer me in exchange for Ben Simmons? That, I think, is the conversation. And I think the other part of the conversation is it appears there's enough noise to tell us that Philly is willing to move Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean Philly's eager to move Ben Simmons. Those aren't the same thing. Willing to and eager to. I disagree. I don't think you have to part with him just because.
I don't think that works in Philly. Well, you know that. I've been saying that since the show started. I don't think that works, and I think this is the time to move on from him. While
you don't think what works in Philly? Ben and
Simmons, Ben Simmons in Philly. I think you can move on from that. But let me ask you this. Let's just have some fun here. Of the teams mentioned, like you said, I agree. There's probably other teams that are involved that weren't mentioned. Mm-hmm. Let's just go with the teams that are mentioned. Do the Kings have the most to realistically offer there?
Well, that's a great question. That's why you get paid the big bucks. There's a couple of things worth discussing there, because we brought up Cleveland yesterday and Colin Sexton.
Mm-hmm.
And the dichotomy of those two are, Sexton being involved in a deal with Ben Simmons. That's very, very different, but very, very interesting. It's a different temperature you have to check on Philly in terms of this particular player versus trading someone like Buddy or Harrison, who's under deal for a lengthier period of time. We'll talk more about this. We'll also dive into the struggles of Team USA. Big deal, little deal, no deal. We got all that going on. We're talking about the impact of this offseason on the Sacramento Kings. What about the rest of the league? We'll get into that. Buddy Hield spoke to Chris Haynes. You'll hear what he had to say. We're just getting started. Put your feet up, get comfortable. We're here for the next 4 hours. It's D'Lo and KC on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. And we're clear.
This is a good little something that Charlie put in there.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it to the air. National French Fry Day.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a question. I ain't even going to ask the question right now because I don't need the chat blowing up. I'm gonna wait till we got a moment on the air to talk about.
Ooh, a moment. I like it. I like it. Uh-huh.
I watched Raw again last night.
The last of the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
I might tune into SmackDown just to see. I want to see fans.
Are they starting it on Friday?
Starting it on Friday. Yeah. So yeah, Friday, and I guess Money in the Bank is Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm interested in. Like Money in the Bank's always a good pay-per-view. So I'll tune. Is it Lashley versus Kofi?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll watch that.
And Lashley is going through it right now. He can't beat these guys.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Oh, the internet was angry. The internet was so angry that year.
It was something. Well, Friday, I'm gonna have to watch SmackDown on DVR because Reese, out of nowhere, this kid's throwing parties for no reason. I don't know who he is. It's not his birthday. It's not nothing.
It's a compound.
Parties. He's having a Space Jam 2 watch party.
Wait, that's Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Saturday. I thought Jazz said it was Saturday.
Right. No, Reese's party.
You're having 2 Space Jam parties?
His is on Friday.
Uh-huh.
There's another one the following week for your boy. That's on Saturday.
Oh. Okay.
Space Jam 2 is Friday. They're making these kids not watch until the sun goes down because we're going to be in the backyard. We got the projector popping off or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, they're going to not watch all day.
Okay.
Space Jam 2 watch party.
Man, Reese knows what's up. He's a party thrower.
It doesn't look half bad.
Doesn't look bad at all.
Interested at the whole build up. Like, we've heard about Space Jam 2 for like 7 years, and I was like, don't do this. Don't do this. No, don't do it. And then I saw the trailer when it came out, and I was like, that doesn't look bad. That actually looks pretty damn good. I'll be watching. Somebody said, ironically, the only thing that could save Team USA right now is LeBron. He get his Space Jam on Team USA. Come out of nowhere, save us some Monstars. Leezy, did I ever have TiVo? Nah, man. No, never had TiVo.
TiVo.
that was a revolution. I remember when I first got the DVR. I was like, that's how I would describe it. I'm like, this is like TiVo, but it's already on your cable company. People was like, oh snap, this what? I can't even wrap my mind around it.
I wonder if like TiVo has TiVo become like Kleenex. I feel like the name TiVo. I feel like the phrase TiVo is kind of phased out a little bit.
I think DVR is what it is.
Okay. Because TiVo is an actual brand.
TiVo.com. Right? It's they're still in,
it's an actual brand.
Gotta be honest, I'm not sure how they're still in production.
Live on the Odyssey app. Live. Oh, have you checked out the new Odyssey app, by the way? You should. You can discover hundreds of new exclusive music stations available now for sports and music fans by sports and music fans. Check out New Jack Swing featuring the grooves of Teddy Riley and the ultimate collection of 90s R&B. The new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app. Was Odyssey talking to me there?
They actually were.
My bad.
I was going to the New Jack station.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you do. Go to the New Jack station. Check it out. It's the New Jack Swing. I think I'm going to have to call Odyssey and ask for my own station. Like, I want to be able to program my own station. And I know you dabble.
What would it be?
Everything.
I need two stations because I do need my my formerly known as Your Body's Calling mix station. And then I'm gonna need my hip hop stuff. No, I changed the name when I met my bride to be. I changed it to Chocolate and Mocha. Now that made it exclusive to us. It wasn't like it was just gonna be out for distribution for everybody. But yeah, Chocolate and Mocha. Oh yeah. Hey, speaking of R&B real quick, did you hear that Carl Thomas, Dave Hollister, and Donnell Jones are making a group?
No.
Yeah.
What is it just called? Trapped in the early 2000s?
Don't hate on those. Don't talk bad about that combo.
Flax Street? Like what is it? Lax Street? Like what is it? What are you talking about?
Come on, man. Dave Hollister. I mean, I like a lot of the stuff he did.
I became a one woman.
Come on, man. That's a smash. That's a smash. He was in Blackstreet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Blackstreet. So I mean, he's got that. But I mean, Donnell Jones, Where I Want to Be, the album.
Great, one of the greatest R&B records of all time.
Carl Thomas, Emotional, the album. Two of the best R&B albums of my generation. This is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, trapped in the early 2000s. That's all right. Some of us just can't let go. We didn't say anything about early 2000s R&B last week. We said stay away from early 2000s hip hop.
Yeah, that's trash.
Early 2000s R&B could work.
I was listening to I wasn't listening to it. I was on the radio and Nelly Ride With Me came on. Oh, that song is garbage.
His hooks were so. If you want to go take a ride with me, I must. They're all so cheesy. Like every single one of them. It's like, man, Nelly, what you doing?
Yeah, trash, man. Big trash. Shout out to Nelly. I mean, he has some hit, like obviously Country Grammar and EI or smashes, but everything else after that was.
I mean,
trash.
shout out to Nelly. He got on that Barry Bonds plan, and he just became like eye candy for the ladies. So he kept doing shows long after those records had burned out, just because the ladies wanted to see him take his shirt off.
Yeah, I ain't going to a Nelly concert. He only got 2 songs.
Well, he's got a bunch of songs. It's just not ones that we like.
2 songs that I want to hear.
Now he just makes records with country artists.
Hey, get that country bag.
Hey, man. Head over to the country. I can't remember the name of it. I just got it. I just got permission. I was like, hey,
tailgate one or no? No, that
I
was.
Don't remember. It might have been tailgate.
Something I don't know. Fire
over
up
and over again.
Because I've got.
It was crazy.
I
heard you do that yesterday while I was away. And I was actually thankful that you did that and not your Nirvana gimmick. So that was solid work on your part. Hour. I did have to go to Danny in San Francisco. Like, hey, these Odyssey stations don't really vibe with our audience. Maybe I could explore the app and dude, there's hundreds of stations over. That's why I'm like, Odyssey, give D-Lo and KC a station.
Come on now.
We could
we really
do make that pop. Dude, we can make it. We can make it. I'm making the call. I'm making the call. Because Danny in San Francisco doesn't listen to us anymore. So I'm making the call to try to get
they got a new jack. I didn't even know they had a new jack. Friday night.
Oh yeah, they got a bunch of them.
Hey, come on, man.
Do you even know who sings that?
No, I know who wrote it though.
Most people don't.
I know who wrote it. I found that out the other day.
Keith?
Yeah.
Johnny Kemp performed it.
Johnny Kemp. I see the guy. I know exactly what it looks like. Don't know his name though. Name
another Johnny Kemp song.
Oh, I could probably name a Sean Kemp song before another Johnny Kemp song.
I wonder if Sean Kemp could name more. I wonder, what would be great? Sean Kemp versus Antonio Cromartie trying to name their kids
that was
in the years they were born.
Come on.
That was the single greatest moment in the history of Hard Knocks history. Like it's lame that the Cowboys are going to be on this year. I know that's going to get eyeballs and people will tune in and be locked in to watch the Cowboys on Hard Knocks. Like I get that. That's fine. But nothing will ever top the one shot on Antonio Cromartie trying to name all his kids and the spectacular moment when he names like 3 different kids who are all 3. And I remember when this episode aired, I pulled up like Antonio Cromartie's Pro Bowl years. And there's a distinct correlation between Antonio Cromartie making the Pro Bowl and the number of kids he had that season. They are linked. He celebrated the Pro Bowl by making babies. You go look at pull the ages of the kids, look at the years that man made the Pro Bowl, and you'll see the link about it. You'll see how that man celebrated. It's not a coincidence.
Speaking of, and we'll get to Ben Simmons and the Kings in just a second, but you reminded me yesterday, you said one of your devastating moments of all time is when the Cowboys lost to the Giants. They were 13-3. I didn't know that was the same year that the Giants won the Super Bowl, beat the Patriots, stopped 18-0 or whatever. Last night,
wild card Giants.
After I was doing a bunch of things around the house, I was vamping last night, Vamp Life. It was about 2:20 in the morning on NFL Network.
Dude, you and I are built different, man.
On NFL Network was that game, Giants Patriots. They're listening to us, Damien.
That's why I go to bed early. That's why I don't stay up till 2:20.
I didn't even get to the finish. When I turned it on, there was 5 minutes left in the game. I didn't see the rest of the game.
Oh, you didn't even make it till 3 a.m. You realize my alarm.
No, that's out of control.
You realize my alarm went off 2 hours after you went to bed, right?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, it's crazy on your part. Now,
I'm the crazy one. Okay.
Now, the crazy thing about this is, like if I'm up till 2, I'm like, it's kind of late. If I'm at 2:30, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I need to get to bed. This is out of control. I better not see 3 o'clock.
Jason Anderson is going to join us about an hour from now. Kings beat writer for the Sacramento Bee. He wrote about Terrence Davis and what his plans are. I'm curious about trying to figure out the right way to frame this. The importance level of Terrence Davis for the Kings. You know what I mean? Like he's a restricted free agent. They have the ability to there's a lot of things going on here. I wonder, is Terrence Davis a priority? Is Terrence Davis a priority if ... fill in the blank? He's a priority if a deal with someone else doesn't go through. Do they have their eyes on other people? We'll get Jason Anderson's feel for that in about an hour when he joins us here on D-Lo and KC. We were talking about Ben Simmons a couple of minutes ago. I feel like you left us with a tease, but we came back talking about Nelly and all of his bad records, so that may have been lost on me a little bit. But Marc Stein tweeted today that the Kings, I know where we are. Kings, Cavs, Timberwolves, and Raptors. Those are just the teams that were reported, made a call to the Philadelphia 76ers about Ben Simmons. I believe the question you asked was, do the Kings have a deal that would be better than anything that those other teams had to offer? And Cleveland's apparent desire to move Colin Sexton, I think, is an interesting conversation here, because I don't know that any team makes a deal for Colin Sexton without the idea of you're going to keep him around, like that you want him here long term.
Absolutely.
And obviously, Cleveland doesn't see him in their future and so on, and that's whatever. That's an interesting piece of the puzzle, and it would simply boil down to, how does the Philadelphia contingent, how does Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers, how do they feel about Colin Sexton? Would a dynamic scorer like that, a potentially dynamic scorer like that, be a good replacement for Ben Simmons? It's certainly the polar opposite of what Ben Simmons is as a player. But the most important piece, I think, in all of these conversations, in any acquisition you make, no matter how many players come back in return, is how do the most important pieces that I just traded for, how do they fit with Joel Embiid? How will they get Joel Embiid back to an MVP caliber level next year? We saw what Ben Simmons can do, and we potentially saw the ceiling of it. All right. You start evaluating Cleveland, you start evaluating Toronto, you start evaluating Minnesota, and you start evaluating Sacramento and trying to figure out, of course, let's just say those are the only 4 teams that contacted them. You start trying to figure out, okay, who on each of these teams can complement Joel Embiid the best? Who can be that dynamic 2 of the 1-2 punch that we got here in Philadelphia? Me personally, I think it's Buddy. That's not biased at all. I think Buddy would fit perfect there. Slight sarcasm. But looking at those 4 teams only, and I don't for a second believe that those are the only 4 teams who have inquired about Ben Simmons. But looking at those 4 teams only, I'm not moved. I don't even like if you're Philly, Siakam doesn't work. It doesn't fit. No. And you can't wait. Philly can't have a project, and Siakam, he'll be back.
Right.
But he probably won't be back to the year after. You can't do that. You can't waste a year of Joel Embiid. Like, the move, if Philly makes a move, and you and I are in disagreement about whether Philly has to or not, if Philly makes a move, it has to be a move to win a championship next season. It can't be a move to where, oh no, we're in really good shape 2 years from now. No, it has to be for next season. And Daryl Morey's been known to do that, almost to a fault. He's been known to do that. He did it with Chris Paul in Houston. He did it with Russell Westbrook in Houston. Like, he went for it year after year after year, and ultimately it fell short. And now Houston apparently they're attempting to move up from, if you believe what you read from, I think both Marc Stein and Shams tweeted about this or wrote about this, that they want Cade. They want to work with Detroit and move up one slot.
Yeah, that's a whole nother situation.
Yeah.
That's kind of a trick.
We're getting into NFL quarterback territory right now if we're talking about moving up one position to draft Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. But when you look at those 4 teams that you mentioned, I mean, I feel like Colin Sexton might be, if you look at like what Trae Young was able to do in this season, in this postseason, if I wanted to, just really vouch for him, really cape for him, I can make the argument Colin Sexton could be that type of guy next season. So if you're Philly and you're talking about win now, maybe Colin Sexton fits that best. But that's only if you want Colin Sexton, if you're a believer in what he could be. But when you talk about Indiana, I don't think they have a trade package that's better than, and I'm just saying, Buddy Bagley in the 9. That's all I'm saying right there. I don't think Indiana has a better one. Minnesota, they could be giving up
a better one that would work.
Well,
like
Sabonis, like, saying, so that's what I'm saying. I'm getting realistic. Like, obviously, they didn't give up Sabonis, but I mean, that would kind of defeat the purpose. And I don't even think Philly would be looking to make that move. So there's that.
Brogdon?
Brogdon actually would fit pretty good with Philly. That's not a bad one. That's that. Maybe they got a better one there with Brogdon. Brogdon's probably the player out of everybody that fits.
Of all of the teams.
Yeah,
he might be the most ideal acquisition for Philadelphia.
Yeah. Unless Toronto's doing some type of sign and trade with Kyle Lowry.
Okay.
That might move into number 1.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean that would allow Kyle to go back to Philly. They figure out the money situation. And so Tim Morris is saying Lowry, or somebody mentioned Lowry and said Lowry's a free agent, but Philly can't get him as a free agent.
Mm-mm.
They'd have to trade
money. Yeah.
Ben Simmons or Tobias Harris or something like that. So maybe that might be realistic. So as I talked this thing through earlier, I thought the Kings had one of the top packages of the teams that were mentioned. Not so much anymore. I think there's other things that the other teams could do that the Kings can't or aren't willing to do.
You know who's a great fit, and don't kill me for this, who I think would be a great fit for Philly is Tyrese. I think Tyrese would be.
No.
Okay. I'm asking the question, is Tyrese completely off limits in a conversation for Ben Simmons?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You see how fast I said that? You see, I didn't even have to think about that.
Can I ask people who don't hate Ben Simmons? Like, we're talking about a guy who's been all NBA.
Ben Simmons either.
You hate the man. Just acknowledge it. He's so this no conversation. Tyrese is off limits.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Miss P, she typed pretty fast. Yes, off limits.
Okay.
Tyler Jennings, Tyler would be a great fit for any team, or Tyrese would be a great fit for any team. Warren, Tyrese is way off limits.
You're talking about a second-year player. So you're telling me Tyrese is going to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year? You telling me Tyrese is going to be a 3-time All-Star in 3 years? I'm asking questions. I'm a broadcast journalist. That's all I'm doing.
I don't think he's going to be a 3-time All-Star.
These are Ben Simmons accolades. These are Ben Simmons accolades. Oh,
you gonna make me say something crazy like he don't deserve to be a 3-time All-Star.
Ben Simmons is a 3-time All-Star.
He is what he is.
He's an all-defensive player. He's an all-NBA player. And y'all are telling me, and I love Tyrese Halliburton, but y'all are telling me that a player entering his second year is completely off limits when it comes to acquiring what, a 25-year-old?
I'll ask you this real quick. Ben Simmons gets traded to the West next year. He make an All-Star team? Absolutely not. It's not even close. It's not even close. He ain't even on the honorable mentions next year on the West. Now the East, I even named the people in the East that he should have made it over him. Trey, I think Chris Middleton didn't make it over him. It was like another guy too. I can't remember who it was.
Well, it's all for naught because Jason Dumas reported the Sixers have already fielded offers for Ben Simmons, but continue to hold a stance that they will only trade him for an all-star caliber player. All-star caliber player. That's interesting because that's not the same as an all-star player. They most recently turned down a deal with the Pacers that included Malcolm Brogdon. Well, what the hell do D'Lo and KC know? How is and a first-round pick? How is Malcolm Brogdon not the perfect fit for Philadelphia?
Hey, they tripping, man. Daryl Morey tripping for that one. He's tripping.
How is Malcolm Brogdon not the perfect guy for them?
Hey, he's tripping. Like I told our guy Marshall, who I think somebody said he's starting today in Chicago. This is
July 13th. Yep.
Yeah. So
that's it.
I'm gonna have to find a way to check into that. But like I told him last year when we were starting all this, and I'll tell Daryl Morey this right now. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead and keep Ben Simmons if you want. You go ahead and keep him if you want. I mean, if I'm trying to tell you what I would do, I would have traded him for Brogdon in a heartbeat. But they think that's not enough. They can go. They can keep Ben Simmons if they want to. That's kind of crazy.
I can't believe they turned down Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know what the other pieces of this were. Man, woo. Damn. I'm wondering if at some point Daryl calls Indiana back like, hey, man, I remember that time we talked. You still open to this?
I do think, though, that if he's interested, if they want to do it, the Kyle Lowry thing fits the most. Maybe they're holding out for that.
This just in, the Sixers have turned down a deal that's not true. Included Kyle Lowry and all of Toronto. They were just like, nope, not enough. Not enough. It's almost like they didn't see the performance in the playoffs. Wow, I'm fine with them turning down offers, but I really thought Malcolm Brogdon was the perfect fit for them.
It's a good fit. I think Kyle Lowry is a little bit more of a perfect fit.
Okay.
He's an all-star. He's an all-star. I think Brogdon, has Brogdon made the team before? He might have made an all-star team. Did he?
I mean, even if he hasn't, he's certainly all-star caliber.
No. So
confirming.
To your original point, though,
Rookie of the year. No all-star
Tyrese. I'm trading Tyrese for Ben Simmons.
Did I say he made the 50-40-90 club? Malcolm Brogdon made the 50-40-90 club.
Man, he don't miss no free throws.
Man, not many people have done that. Wow. Steve Nash did it 4 times.
Didn't Paul George do it this year?
Doesn't look like it.
No, he had like 80% from the free throw.
Kyrie did it. Malcolm Brogdon did it. Steph, KD, Dirk, Reggie, Mark Price. That's it. The list in the WNBA is even shorter.
There's just
Selena Deladon.
My girl Deladon. I haven't seen her play. Is she playing this year? Is she out there? I haven't seen a Mystics game this year.
Yeah, she is. Interestingly enough, not that I know this off the top of my head, but in 2011. Nope, 2012. In 2012, a former Sacramento Monarch hit 44% from 3, 93% from the free throw line, and 49.8% from the field.
That's a hell of a season right there.
She would have been the first 50, 40, 90 person in the WNBA. And
missed it by less than a season right there. Ooh.
Indeed it was. No postseason awards, not that I'm keeping track and remembering things like that, but all right. I guess we'll just table Ben Simmons. We'll get Jason Anderson's thoughts on Ben Simmons when he joins us. I don't know how this there's no need for Sacramento to even waste their time now. If they turning that down. There's not.
We don't need to make no call.
No, there's not. Because they don't have a package better than that. And I've been told my suggestion is completely off limits. And Brogdon's credentials are even a little bit deeper than Tyrese's, and he's got a little bit more NBA space under his feet than Tyrese does. But if they're shutting down Brogdon, Tyrese has no chance. So Yeah.
Tyrese had no chance with us, Damien.
This is this apparently I see that. I emphatically see that here in the chat. No taken. My bad.
At least it wasn't Kevin Love, though.
It wasn't Kevin Love. No,
It
I
wasn't that response. And then who was the guy that I tried to trade for the other day and they weren't having it?
I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Love.
Was it Kevin Love?
I brought up Kevin Love and was killed. You brought up Kevin Love and it was like, no.
I think I got killed too. I think
It was
I got somebody for somebody. I thought it was Kevin Love.
Oh, the Colin Sexton post yesterday
Maybe
didn't
that
go
was
over
Colin,
well
yeah,
with
Colin, yeah.
our man Charlie over at CBS 13. He's like, what are we gonna do? Try to score 150 every game? Like, yeah. Charlie, you don't like that idea? We could pull it off. What you mean? There's a lot of other offseason. I feel like the Ben Simmons thing is gonna. It's like Aaron Rodgers 2.0.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
It's a conversation, and it's going to constantly be a conversation, and it's constantly going to be brought up. But ultimately, Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing football for the Green Bay Packers next year.
You think that's the way that plays out?
I think that's what happens with Ben Simmons. He's not playing quarterback, but I do think he's playing point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers next year. I think this is all. I don't. Yeah. To answer your first question, yes, I think Aaron Rodgers is just playing football for the Packers. I don't know if his feelings are hurt. I don't know if he's tired. I don't know if he's just flexing. I don't know what it is. But I think it ends with him playing quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Ben Simmons thing, like it's we're early in the process, and this is a pretty good deal. At least the main framework looks like a pretty good deal from Indiana, and Philadelphia turned it down. I don't know how much better it's going to get than that.
I don't know either.
If I'm other teams, I'm looking at it like, yeah, just hey, kill the trade proposal because they doing too much.
It cracks me up when you talk to the secretary.
Yeah, I look off in the distance too. It's like she's sitting over here. There's nobody there. I just look at it as if she's sitting over there.
Joan in accounting.
Joan, no, they said no to Malcolm, so just forget it.
Was that who the Capital One lady was in draft day? Wasn't she like a cap specialist or something? What's her name? Jennifer Gardner?
Is that who that is? The Capital One lady?
Yeah, is that Jennifer Gardner?
Yes.
Is that her name?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what else is she? Yeah, she's a Capital One lady.
Ma'am, you've never seen Alias?
The TV show?
Yes.
I'm aware of it. Did I sit there and watch it? No.
Apparently, because you just called her the Capital One lady. We'll step out. We'll come back. I'm going to school Kenny to Jennifer Gardner. We're going to talk to Jason Anderson. Really? You have a strange
She was in that Eagles movie too, right? With
Okay.
what's his name? Oh no,
Right.
that's the other Jennifer.
We're back with more of D'Lo and KC on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Woo,
Elizabeth
man.
Banks. I thought that was it. Who's
That's
the other
43
Jennifer
hit me.
though? Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Who's the other Jennifer?
Jennifer Love Hewitt?
No, I thought there was another Jennifer.
Jennifer Lewis? Jennifer.
Maybe I'm just wrong.
Jennifer.
Maybe I'm just wrong. Yeah, I didn't know Jennifer Gardner was in Alias though. She was in a couple other movies that I've seen though. Wasn't she in like a rom-com?
Oh, for
like
sure.
Ashton
She
Kutcher or
was
something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like she was in the what was that movie? They had, I mean, it's one of those ones that had everybody. It was like Ashton Kutcher, Jamie Foxx. It was like a Valentine's Day one.
Oh, it was called Valentine's Day. It was an ensemble. It was one of them weird ensemble cast movies.
Yeah.
Where they just put everybody in the movie. I feel like Crash
Jennifer
did that.
Lawrence, that's the one. Wasn't she in the Philadelphia Eagles one? That's the Silver Linings.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, I saw it. It was solid. It was good.
It's a good call here from Poker Pro. Jennifer from Portland. Trying, Jennifer. We got it. Capital One lady.
Aniston. Yeah, was Aniston in the one with what's his name? Was in the Valentine's Day one? Maybe it was her and not Gardner. I think Gardner was in there. Now you're gonna make me look. Yeah, I know her.
Dude, Jennifer Aniston in morning show on Apple TV with Reese Witherspoon was fire.
I think I remember seeing something like a commercial for that one.
So good. Let's see. We've got Jessica Alba, Kathy Bates, Jessica Biel, Bradley Cooper, Eric Dane, Patrick Dempsey, Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Gardner.
There we go. Come on
Anne
now.
Hathaway.
Give me some love on that one, everybody.
Ashton Kutcher, Queen Latifah, George Lopez, Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts, Taylor Swift. Roberts. Wow.
Yeah, I think Taylor Swift was a high schooler in that movie. I've seen that movie.
Apparently you have.
Yeah.
Apparently
you have. Why or where I saw that movie. But I've seen it. Because I remember they go to that place in LA, that little bridge. The little bridge in the neighborhood. It's not even.
I was going to say there's a bridge in LA.
Neighborhood. It's in a neighborhood, and it's like it's literally in a. It's not. I don't even know what to call it. It's like it's not even a creek. It's literally like your next door neighbor. If you had a bridge that went from that block to the other block, but I guess it's. I don't know if they made it famous or it was already kind of famous before the movie. But it was like this was supposed to be some romantic spot.
Don't be fooled by the rocks and a guy.
I mean, it's not really my thing. Movies aren't really my thing to begin with, to be honest with you. I don't watch a lot of movies. It's a long time.
I mean, Kenny did see Boat Trip. That's a good call, Patrick. That's a good call, Patrick. That's a good call. Was Jennifer Aniston was also the pervy dentist in the Kill My Boss movie, Horrible Bosses. Sadly, I saw both of those. Discussing all things Jennifer over on twitch.tv/ESPN1320, youtube.com/ESPN1320, whether it's Jennifer Lawrence, Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Gardner, or I'm Trying Jennifer.
We've determined that I've seen Jennifer Gardner in a number of different movies.
You have, and yet you referred to her as what?
I mean, the Capital One lady. I mean, what? Okay, well, I see her literally every day on Capital One.
You do. You do.
I haven't seen Valentine's Day in a decade, but I see her every day in Capital One. So, yeah.
If
she's
the American
more money from Capital One than those movies too,
probably does. As many times as those damn commercials there, she probably does.
Wow.
916-349-1320 if you want to share your favorite Jennifer with it. No, that's not true. That's only for the commercial breaks. We're running down these ensemble cast movies where they just throw a whole bunch of people into one movie and throw it out there. And we've determined that Kenny has seen Valentine's Day with Jennifer Gardner and
Ashton Kutcher
and Jamie Foxx and Taylor Swift and Queen Latifah. Like it's just pick any person you don't believe belongs in the movie, and they were in it.
You know, now that I think about it, it's all coming back to me. I'm not really a Taylor Swift fan at all. I feel like
there's a but.
No, there's a but. She was really good in that movie.
Oh.
She had like a bit role, but she did a good job.
I'm not going to pretend like Taylor Swift don't have some heat. That if it hits
the
phone box, I'll turn it up.
She doesn't really have heat, but Bad Blood. Reese, Reese really liked Bad Blood. I don't know where he heard that song from, but he was a fan of Bad Blood.
Kendrick's on it.
I think it was on one of the Lego movies. I think that's when he heard the song.
Okay.
This was
anywhere I heard it, but Taylor Swift's got heat. I ain't going. Taylor's got heat. USA basketball does not, however. They have no heat.
Oh,
they are heatless. They are room temperature right now. It's one thing to lose to Freeport Metu and the Nigerian squad. Like that's I mean, come on. It's Freeport.
Ain't nobody touching them right now. Smacked up Argentina the other day too. Or yesterday.
You can't touch them once. I mean, let's get it done. Now they're losing to Australia. Now they're losing multiple games in a row. It's a unique look for Team USA because we don't see them lose often. We certainly haven't seen them lose in almost a decade, not quite. What's 7 years, I think, since they lost 2000. No, they lost in 2006. 2004, 2006. Yeah. So it's been a while since we've seen them lose. They certainly didn't lose once the Redeem team was formed, and they kind of went on from there. I didn't realize this game was on. I was able to catch it, later. I can't believe I was locked into the home run derby.
Man, that was some good stuff last night.
I had no idea
that was some good
USA
stuff.
basketball was playing in a place that I could see it. But I got to it later. I don't know if you had a chance to see it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. We're not used to seeing them lose. They have a short amount of time to figure it out. Obviously, this is all about the Olympics. It's not about all of these exhibition games in Vegas. Like, none of that stuff is important. It's all about the Olympics. I think they need time together. These, Nigeria, Australia, these countries that they're playing have trained together and played together and have, been building towards this moment. Whereas these guys here, they're taking time off away, from their off season. They're taking time away from what is supposed to be their time away from basketball to go do this. So it's an entirely different makeup with quite honestly, a lot of first time international basketball players. And the international game is different.
Yeah. One thing that I do love about these games is the way they're being officiated. All these little tricks and these little fall on the ground, let me throw it up, all the flopping that these NBA players are used to getting bailed out with. The international referees are seeing this nonsense and they're laughing at them. Like, get up, get off the ground. We're going the other way. I love that. That needs to be incorporated into the NBA game a little bit more. And with that, these guys in the NBA, they need to make the adjustment. They need to know, like you mentioned, it's a more physical game. You're not going to get away with tricking the refs into calling certain stuff. You're going to have to be strong out there. You have to look to finish strong. And I mean, let's not discount the fact that aside from Kevin Durant, aside from Jason Tatum, like maybe the rest, and Dame Lillard, the rest of these guys on the team, if what is that? I just named 3 guys. If the 9 next best players were asked to be on the team, they'd all go before all these other guys on the squad. You know what I mean? So there is that. But I got to ask the question, is the rest of the world catching up to the United States?
Sure. I mean, I think they caught up a long time ago. I think the other countries caught up we've seen USA get beaten before. They've caught up. The difference is they're sending, for the most part, and I'm sure that there are exceptions, but they're sending their absolute best talent who has trained together and played together and has prepared for this for a very long time. USA just we talked about ensemble cast a minute ago with movies. That's what the U.S. national team is. It's an ensemble cast. Dame Lillard over here, he's the Jennifer Gardner. And then you got Draymond Green, he's the Queen Latifah. And then you got, the Devin Booker, who's going to join the team later. He's the Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? Like you have that. It's just there's not a lot of cohesiveness in it. And so I think, yes, I think it's not catching up. I think countries have already caught up. But when LeBron's not there, when Anthony Davis isn't there, when Steph Curry isn't there, when the best of the best players aren't there. And I know Dame is phenomenal. KD is like, I know that. But when the most of the, if you made a list of the top 8 players in the NBA, only a couple of them, depending on where you place Dame, KD certainly are there.
Yeah.
So when you're sending a really, really good squad, but it's not your A squad. It's not your best squad, but it's a really good one. Yeah, I would absolutely expect other countries who are sending their absolute best to be competitive, and in cases like we've seen the last couple of nights, beat them.
Do you think, because I agree with you, I think the world is catching up to a certain degree. I think the days of beating Angola by 70, I think those days are gone. Well, maybe they could still beat Angola today, but the rest, running through everybody else like they did in 92, 96, all that other stuff, I think those days are gone.
Those are gone. Yeah. They didn't even do that really in 08.
No.
I mean, they beat teams in 08, but we talk about it all the time. That game against Spain, that was a
real game.
That was fight. Yeah, that was a fight.
Yeah, that was a real game, and that was with the best. You know what I mean? That's with
like
the best of the best.
That is like the absolute best. That's the closest we've had since 1992 to a legitimate dream team. The 2008 team is the closest we've had to a dream team.
And the craziest thing about that is I actually saw a clip of Kobe in that game a couple weeks ago, like on Twitter, and it's surreal to think that team with that team had some of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Yeah,
we're looking for Kobe and cheering for Kobe.
Yeah,
like, you the man. You get us out of this. Give him the ball. Like, that's how you know. There's only probably a handful of guys in the history of the world who have had the greats of all time looking up to you.
Yep.
And that's what Kobe was that day. That was amazing.
Kobe and Dwayne Wade. It was Kobe and Dwayne Wade in the fourth quarter of that game against Spain for the gold medal. But Melo, Boozer, Chris Bosh, Kobe, Orlando Magic, Dwight Howard.
No problem. Who some people said was DeAndre Ayton was.
Okay, stop it. LeBron James, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Tayshaun Prince, Michael Redd, who didn't get a lot of run there, Dwayne Wade, and Darren Williams. Oh, remember the conversation? Who's the best point guard in the NBA? Is it Chris Paul or Darren Williams? Well, guess who won that conversation?
Chris Paul won that conversation. That's who I was always riding with. But I know you know this, Damian. Darren was a problem.
He was good, dude.
It
was a legitimate question back in 07, 08.
Yeah.
It was the funny thing about Darren was I remember he gained weight there because he would, food was available 24/7. And I mean like food. And
crack tails and lobster.
He would go golf after every practice. That's what he would do. Their practices were light because they played every other day, and then he would go golf. What he did the whole time, he would just golf. By the end of the 4 weeks there, 3.5 weeks there, he was chunky, little chunky Darren Williams, and you could see it. Go back and look at the beginning of the 2009 season. Look at it; you could still see it. Or 2008, 2009 season. You could still see it.
He was already naturally kind of.
He was thick. He's like me. He had to work to stay lean.
Yeah.
The minute you stop working, you're Carl Lewis in the middle of the national anthem. You step on the scale. Get this thing in check here. I don't know. Do fast forward. Less than about a month from now. USA basketball gold medal winners.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's gotten to that point where they're bringing this team, which isn't their best team, but still a pretty damn good collection of players, not winning the gold medal. But I mean, all the things are starting to, I don't want to say play against them, but all the things that were factors in the past where people were in awe of Team USA and, the talent level wasn't the same. Those things aren't there anymore. You look at somebody like Nigeria, that's the other thing. These guys play with these guys all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It used to be they see Team USA and they'd see him for the first time or they just see him on TV. Metu was just playing with these guys a couple days ago. We gonna hoop. Yeah. There is no intimidation factor out there.
You listen to D'Lo and Casey on ESPN 1320 KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento and Odyssey Station, and driven by Lashers, Elk Grove Dodge. We're live on twitch.tv/ESPN 1320, youtube.com/ESPN 1320, and we've got your chance to win $1,000 coming up in about 8 minutes. You want to be a part of the show? The chat house is a great way to do it on Twitch or YouTube, or you can get us on the phone lines 916-349-1320. Let's go to TC. TC, what's good, baby?
Oh man, what's up, D'Lo? Casey with my brothers.
TC, what's up, big dog?
Oh man, just chilling out. Man, I'm gonna make it real quick. So I'm with y'all too. I said it this morning as soon as I found it out as far as the Ben Simmons trade. I'm with what is it? I'm Buddy Bagley and a ninth pick, Kenny. But at the same time, the reason why I throw in next year's the 2022 first round, just to make it that much more juicier. You get what I'm saying? To get the front line on the other teams that are coming with packages, because if it's just Buddy Bagley and the ninth pick right now, without any other team offering a superstar, we have the best package. So if you add another first rounder next year, that just makes it that much juicier. So that's why I'm not with him.
I hear you, TC. I hear you. I mean, the way they're turning down Malcolm Brogdon deals, I think that's just adding the second pick is just going to get you in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even going to guarantee you nothing. It's just like not getting you hung up on. All right, we get the second pick. Okay, well, let's talk.
There's also another, part of the equation. It's Bagley's kind of a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you're Monty McNair, you have to sell it to your old buddy, Daryl Morey. Okay. He just needs a change of scenery. He'd be great for you. All he needs is his team is fantastic. He's got a great PR squad behind him. He just needs a change of scenery. Really, a lot of any potential deal like that could depend on what someone is anyone tantalized by Marvin Bagley, or is it simply we're not taking a draft bust back. I don't even want to look at him for a year. That's weak. He ain't got no room here. It could be two completely different observations of him.
And I know you're talking purely basketball, and I get that. But Team Bagley and Marvin Bagley, they get flustered by D'Lo and KC and don't want to answer questions from Sean Cunningham. And they get put in Philadelphia?
Yeah, but you know what? They'd be so insignificant in Philadelphia. It wouldn't matter.
Oh,
he wouldn't be significant until he played. Until he played well.
They'd be killing him. They'd be killing him for everything that's going on right now.
Earn their money then. But get to work in PR. They're really, really good at it. 916-349-1320. Let's get to the MVP of the show. My man Manny, the Serial Connection. Manny, what's good?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
What's going on, baby?
Hey, so with I don't worry. It's like to me like the preseason. Like I don't worry about these guys getting to kind of get to gel and play and like. I agree. Like the international game, they caught up to the U.S. a bit. But if you're A-team, if you had the A-team out there, are you really worried? Like, are you really worried about anybody else? Do you really think that anybody's beating our A-team?
Nah.
If not, then they not really caught up. If you can't beat the A-team, yeah, I understand that's not always going to be the case, but in reality, that means no, you haven't caught up.
I think they can compete. I think they can compete with the A-team, though.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not losing by 90
anymore. They're not scared anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're there. Like you said, A-team, they taking care of business. They're winning. They're the favorites for sure. But yeah, they ain't got to worry about nothing if the A-team is there.
They got a good squad there. I think they're going to figure it out, and I'm in the same line as you are. When we get to the gold medal game, I think Team USA is going to win the gold medal.
Mhm.
What I think might be different this time, they might lose pool play games or pool play game.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll lose in, quarter semis. Once we get into tournament play, I don't think they're going to lose there. But they might lose a game depending on, who's on their schedule, and I genuinely don't know. They might lose a game in the run-up, and that's going to create some conversation. But overall, I think when it comes down to it, and it could be a situation where Greg Popovich, who's being criticized heavily today, it could be a situation where Pop is running a 7-man rotation like it's an NBA Finals. He could be out there trying to, he had an exchange with the reporter yesterday.
Yeah, I heard that.
Here's Pop.
Let me also answer that question. You asked the same sort of question, the same family of question last time, where you assume things that are not true. When you just mentioned, blowing these teams out, that's never happened. So I don't know where you get that. So, can I finish? Can I finish my statement? Can I finish my statement? When you talk, are you going to let me finish my statement or not? So you'll be quiet now while I talk, and then I'll listen to you. When you make statements about in the past just blowing out these other teams, number one, you give no respect to the other teams. And I talked to you.
So that's kind of the gist of it. He talks for a few more minutes. It sounds like hell, so we'll just dismiss it there. But
calm down, Pop. Calm down. Although that was Joe Varden too.
It was, yeah. Go ahead.
You calm down too a little bit.
Yeah,
Joe
go ahead, say it. Yeah.
Settle down. Just calm down a little bit here.
Yeah.
Everybody, take a chill pill. Joe Varden, you said no because you're telling me. All right, I'll just say it. Shut up, Joe Varden.
I don't really have a problem with what Pop did there. Like I found that, I could have done with I was fine with the, are you going to let me finish? I could have done without the, you be quiet now. And I could have done without that.
That's the part where I was like,
but I'm fine with him. Like, dude, let me finish.
Right.
I'm fine with that. I appreciated that more than most of his sideline interviews. Like I used to find those things like funny until Doris Burke told us a story one time about how she was so humiliated by one of them. She asked the producer not to air it, and they didn't. They never aired it. She just was so embarrassed by the way that it went and the way that he talked to her. She was just like, please don't air that. And they chose not to. And I've watched him differently ever since, because I kind of go in with the mindset like everybody knows and they just deal with it. Right. But everybody, they have a job to do also. Like Doris has the job to do, whoever the sideline reporter is has a job to do. So I stopped finding that sideline shtick funny.
Even with that, I mean, I know in that particular situation, Joe Varden was probably the one the most that needs to settle down. But
yeah,
Pop has had run-ins with the press before.
Joe Varden's one of the most of the you need to settle down journalists in the entire country. He gets that distinction.
No, because you're telling us that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Joe.
Okay, Joe. Yeah. I'm looking at the rankings for FIBA. Australia was the number 3 team in the world. But what's even more alarming, do you know where we rank in the 3-on-3 rankings?
Oh, geez. I'm going to say, oh, shoot.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Time for the Summer of Cash contest. Here is your opportunity to win $1,000 by texting the code word BOTTLE to 72881. That's bottle, as in Black Bottle Boys.
Yeah.
As in a bottle of McQueen and the Violet Fog Gin. As in a bottle of Luke Belair. As in a bottle of Bumbu Cream. As in a bottle of Villon. Text BOTTLE 72881. This is a multi-state contest. Message and data rates apply. And remember, don't text and drive. Are they top 10?
They are top 10. Well, let me take that back. So, yes, the men are top 10.
Go 8? I don't know.
They're number 2. Serbia's number 1.
Oh,
But
you made it. You made it. You oversold that. Like you were way too dramatic for a number 2 seeding.
Well, we're not number 1. That's a little surprising.
You ain't first, you last. Okay, Ricky Bobby, relax.
The women, surprisingly, I think they're going to shock some people. They're 16th, if I'm reading this right.
Yeah, the women are winning. The women are winning 3-on-3. They're not losing.
I'm really looking forward to 3-on-3.
Really?
Am. Yeah.
Oh,
I want to see what that looks like.
Mr. It's not a sport. It shouldn't be an Olympic sport.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be an Olympic sport. We don't need it to be an Olympic sport, but it's going to be there. I like the idea of 3-on-3 basketball.
You have the perfect training facility in your backyard for 3-on-3 basketball. Perfect training facility for
crowded.
3-on-3.
Maybe 2-on-2 for sure. 2-on-2.
You can't do 3? 6.
I mean, we can. I just think it's a little crowded. You don't have as much space. 2-on-2 for sure, though. 3-on-3 with kids, little kids. Yeah.
Are you suggesting that's not a regulation size? Did you skimp on the size of the little G1C?
Man, it is regulation. I'm just saying. We got the Spike Lee seats that cut into it a little bit.
Of course, because you had to have the Spike Lee seats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if y'all didn't see Casey's backyard, like you have to see it. It is unlike anything you'll ever see.
Now you're sounding like me talking about the 3-on-3 rankings.
No, that's facts. Like your backyard is spectacular. I've never seen a backyard like yours before.
No, you've seen plenty. Just look out the window.
It's perfect. It's like flawless.
Just look out the window, Damien.
I got dead grass in my backyard. I need to call I need to call your guy. That's what I need to get. Kenny, send all your people over to my house so we can get set up over here. We'll step out. Iran, France, and the Czech Republic. Those are the teams in Team USA's group. So I'm gonna fall back on maybe they lose a game in the pool.
They're winning that pool.
Which actually makes me a little nervous. The fact that maybe they won't be challenged in pool play. But we'll come back. We'll talk Buddy Hield talk. He talked to Chris Haynes. You'll hear what he said. Plus, we're going to talk to Jason Anderson. He joins us next here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Here comes the money.
Money, money, money.
Rudy Gobert. I don't know.
It's a good question.
Rudy Gobert. France. You are from Italy, and I am from France. I can't remember what characters those were, but they were in living color characters. Yeah. Yep, he sure is.
Rudy.
I watched a Tom Brothers skit. We're brothers. We're happy. And I watched that skit, one of those skits the other day. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Have you ever seen Bamboozled?
No, I haven't.
I'm like, Spike has got to release that somewhere. Like, it's not available anywhere.
Can't find it anywhere?
No. No, Spike it. And it's like, I think I take it back. I think I may have found it on Amazon. Like, I could buy it on Amazon, but it's like standard definition.
Oh, yikes.
It's rough. But it's a wild movie. It's more like a cult type Spike movie, like a cult favorite, but it's wild, and Damon Wayans is one of the leads in it.
I didn't know Damon Wayans was in it.
Yeah, he's like he's a frustrated TV executive who can't quit, so he tries to get fired by creating a blackface show. Basically a minstrel show. And
man,
of course the network loves it.
Oh my God.
So now he's the black dude who created a blackface show for a network television. And so it's interesting. It's interesting.
Oof.
Yeah, 120. Yep, right here. When we get back, or get back-ish. Start using these banners for phone calls instead of the other one. Jason Anderson. Damn, that works. Oh, yeah. Nah, Damon Wayans Jr. isn't everything. And the confusing thing is he looks like Damon Wayans, and Damon Wayans still looks young. So it takes a second. Wait, is that Junior or is that Damon?
He his daddy, as they would say, spit him out.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a My Wife and Kids fan?
I liked it. Yeah.
thought
I think it
was
just
pretty
popped up somewhere.
good. It's on Hulu now.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that show. That show, Damon Wayans, he cracks me up, man. He's pretty funny. Damon Wayans is pretty funny in everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
How you living? What? How you living? What? In living color. If I had to guess, Lake Show, I think they're trying to lock down another Sunday. I think that was the deal.
All-Star game tonight too. Planning around the All-Star game.
Looking forward to it, man. All-Star game. This used to be a monumental day when I was a kid. All-Star game. The Monday and the Tuesday.
That's excessive.
Nah, it was big time. It was big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, y'all in here deep. Boy, Twitch just don't represent us like YouTube does, man. All right. Like we appreciate all of you. Hit them thumbs up over there on YouTube. Please. Hey, while you're watching there on YouTube, at least for those that are watching on youtube.com/ESPN1320, why don't you go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, man. Stop being lazy. Become a subscriber as well. We're live every day. Plus, we post the 13th round every day available for you. It's the show within a show available here from 2:13 to 2:16 every day on twitch.tv/ESPN1320 and YouTube.
Rounds.
Don't be late either, because if you're late, well, you miss it. You literally can't blink. You will miss it. Jason Anderson, Kings beat writer, set to join us coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Wrote recently about Terrence Davis and how Terrence Davis is going to kind of check the waters, if you will, as free agency approaches in just a handful of weeks or so, and anxious to get his thoughts, or curious to get his thoughts on one, on Terrence Davis, and two, kind of where Terrence fits in terms of the Kings offseason priorities.
Well, for me personally, I mean, he fits. He's important in what they're trying to do. He's not a deal breaker, but I'd like to see him come back. I will say that. I'll definitely say that. I'd like to see him come back. I think they should try to make that work, but he's got a price. You know what I'm saying? Well,
everybody's got a price.
Everybody's got a price. And if they go above that price, somebody offers them above that price, which I don't really see happening.
Yeah, I guess it's not just the value of Terrence Davis to the Sacramento Kings, it's the value of Terrence Davis to the rest of the league also. Like, what does the rest of the league think of Terrence Davis? And he certainly looked good in his brief time here.
I like him.
No, we do too, and we like Jason Anderson. Jason Anderson joining us here on D-Lo and KC. Jason, how's your offseason treating you?
So far, so good. How about you guys?
Oh, good, man. We good.
No off season here on D-Lo and KC, man. We on every day, and really no off season for you either. I don't even know why I asked, because you were writing about Terrence Davis just a couple of days ago. What do you think? What do you think Terrence Davis is? Where do you think he ranks in terms of Kings priorities this offseason?
I'm not exactly sure how to answer that. I think it's so dependent on what else they do with the roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they have bigger decisions to make.
Mm-hmm.
But so many of the things that they're going to do, we don't know what's going to happen with Buddy. We don't know what's going to happen with Marvin. We don't know what's going to happen with Rashawn. So I think there are some of these other dominoes that have to fall, and the Kings may already have a sense of kind of which direction they're going with some of those decisions, and I think that'll kind of dictate, kind of where their priorities are in terms of the rest of the roster.
So Jason, with Terrence Davis, people that you talk to, and your report says that he's planning to decline the qualifying offer. Is this something where, to the best of your knowledge, is he, maybe not happy here or not happy with the thought of being here and wants to get out, or is it just a formality? Is it just like this is kind of the way that things are going right now?
Yeah, I think it's a formality. There's been no indication that TD doesn't like it here. In fact, he told us during the season that he was very much enjoying himself here and liked the style of play, liked his fit with the organization. He thinks that that stretch of 27 games at the end of the season was probably the best basketball of his career. So he was giving us indications during the season that he likes the fit and was open to the idea of returning. But turning down this qualifying offer is no surprise. I think it's a $1.9 million qualifying offer. He's gonna want to get paid and make some more money. The part of that I think might have caught some people off guard was the fact that he's going to be seeking something in the neighborhood of $9 million per year, which is a big number. The market will dictate whether he gets that or not. But I think they can point to some of the other recent deals. Like one I looked at was DeAnthony Melton last year with Memphis. He's a backup guard. Numbers roughly similar to what Terrence has done. In fact, Terrence's numbers during that stretch with the Kings, he put up a lot significantly better numbers than Melton did. So I think they can look at that deal, which was about roughly $8.5 million per year over 4 years. They can point to that and try to establish Terrence's value that way.
Jason Anderson, Kings beat writer for the Sacramento Bee, with us here on D-Lo and KC. And I guess that's kind of the gift and the curse of the acquisition last year, Jason, is that he, you knew you only had him here for a couple of months, or you knew that it was likely you only had him here for a couple of months, and he played pretty well. And you could probably make the argument, I don't know if he increased his value to $9 million a year, but he certainly increased his value. Like, we think he played, really, really good here in those final 27 games of the season.
No, he certainly did. He was over 11 points a game. I want to say about 3.5 rebounds. He contributed everywhere. It was 11.1 points, 3.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists. He shot the ball well. He was active defensively, lots of deflections, had, some nice steal numbers. And one of the things I'm hearing from people in this pre-draft process is that the Kings are putting a premium on things like deflections, steals. I think we're getting an idea of the kind of players that Monty McNair wants to have here. And, I think so far we've seen kind of an affinity for guys with length, guys who are strong, athletic. And Terrence is a guy who definitely helps them in that area. He's not a lockdown defender by any means, but kind of like DeLon Wright, he just showed some nice tendencies in terms of knowing where to be, kind of getting into those passing lanes, causing a little bit of havoc with some deflections. And I think those are things that the Kings value.
Yeah, I like him a lot, Jason. And I think that the Kings, I'm not saying it should be the number one priority, but I think this is a guy that you want to keep in-house, that you want to keep here in this program. And not only because of his production, but it's one less thing you have to worry about. I really like that bench that they established at the end of the season with Fox out and Halliburton out, and you bring him back into the fold with that. That's a spark plug off the bench, man. Do you have any understanding or any knowledge of how they viewed the guys that played at the end of the season, like the Terrence Davis and the Lon Wright? Do they feel like they found something there and they're kind of good with those guys coming back? Or do they look at it as, it was the end of the season, you never know how teams are taking that time and they're not putting too much stock into it? How do they read that final 2 or 3 weeks or so?
Well, I think there's validity to both of those, kind of positions you just laid out there. I do think they liked what they found late in the season. Monty, Luke, we all talked about how this team was much better defensively down the stretch than they were over the course of the season with their core guys. And so I think there are a couple things at play there. One, this bench unit that they put together after the trade deadline was just better defensively. I mean, these guys are just more capable defenders at this point. And two, these guys were playing for something. A lot of that group had a lot to play for. If you look at their contract situations there was a group of guys there that really produced for them that had a lot to play for. And so, I think you do have to weigh those things and ask yourself what you're really going to get if you lock a guy up for 3-4 years. But no, they got a lot out of those guys. It was a nice. Monty made some good moves at the trade deadline. Those guys were what they needed, and I do think there's some interest in what that would have looked like over the course of a full season. I don't. That doesn't mean you just run it back the way it is, but I do think they wonder where they would have been if they had those guys on the team all year long.
Hypothetical here. Is Ben Simmons a Monty McNair type player?
It's a good question. And, I think for this roster, I think Monty's got to look at what he has already, right? I mean, that's got to be part of the conversation is what you have and what you need. And, I think Ben potentially could be a really good fit here. This team has to improve in defense and rebounding. They were 30th in the league in both categories last season. Ben is going to give you defense and rebounding. He's going to be a playmaker. The question I have is, and I don't know whether this would be a concern or not for the Kings or any other team acquiring Ben, but Ben has played 98% of his minutes in the NBA at point guard, and I think 2% at shooting guard, and has never, they switch a lot. So, there's no question he can man up and guard 3s and 4s and maybe even, some 5s. But would he, that's a conversation I feel like it would have to be had is look, how much are you willing to transform yourself and your game, to kind of fit the situation. And in Sacramento, assuming that Fox and Halliburton are not included in any kind of a deal for Ben Simmons, you're going to be asking Ben to play the 3, play the 4. And how comfortable is he doing that full time? And so that's kind of something I come back to is just, how much has Ben willing to change and transform his game to fit the situation. I think the Kings would have to give that some thought. But he addresses a lot of their needs just by throwing on a jersey. He can rebound. He's going to defend. You can put him on point guards. You can have him guard the wing. I mean, these are areas of desperate need for Sacramento. And I think Ben, if they could find a way to get that deal done, I think Ben helps with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Jason, you've been all over it with the draft and the Kings sneaking guys in and out for these private workouts and all this other stuff. I just imagine Jason like in the bushes, like across the street from Golden One Center, just with binoculars, you know what I mean, trying to see who's coming in and coming out. But this is just a pure hypothetical, just your read on it because you've been close to the draft or whatever. If you had to pick a player that they could take that might be in that range at 9, who do you think would be good for the Kings to take at that spot?
Well, I'm gonna punt to a certain extent here, just because of what I said. Well, here's why.
And I will give you a couple of names of guys that I'm intrigued by. But I think that this depends on what else they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I tend to look at this draft and the range they're in at number 9 and kind of look at the 3-4 type guys. You know, but if Buddy is about to get traded, that might change things. You know what I mean? If they're parting ways with, you know, if Rashawn's going to go, that might change things. So, you know, I think they have information we don't, and you know, we can't. It makes it hard to kind of assess this stuff. So, you know, but if I do like a lot of the kind of 2-3, 3-4 guys in this draft. I would point to, you know, Franz Wagner's a guy who's been to Sacramento a while. Hold on. My information, like, it's been reported that Franz is a lock for Sacramento, and this might have changed in the last, I guess, 7 days, but I was told last week they haven't even met with him yet. So, Moses Moody is a guy, if you want to get into some names, Moses Moody, long, athletic, shooting, can defend. Those are the types of guys I'm looking at. I'm intrigued by Jalen Johnson, I think, for some of those same reasons. Some people have him sliding way down the board because of, you know, some of his past issues. And without, you know, conducting the background checks myself and you know, all of that stuff, I don't know how fair that is. It may be fair, it may not be fair, but, you know, he left Duke in the middle of a pandemic when guys across the basketball world are suffering like catastrophic injuries because things are just weird. And I don't know how much I can hold it against a guy who's a draft lock that he checked out early there and went to focus on himself. So, like, I'm still intrigued by him. You know, they're Scotty Barnes. I get the feeling they really, really like Scotty Barnes. I don't think it's likely he'll be around at number 9, but it makes me wonder if there, you know, again, there are possibilities that things could change. They could trade up. They could trade back. You know, there's a lot of conversations they're having that might help us kind of inform, you know, sort of our views. But at this point, we just don't know how those other dominoes are going to fall yet.
It's going to be a fascinating few weeks, Jason. We're looking forward to talking with you throughout it all. Thanks for joining us.
Take care, Jason.
You too.
All right. It's our man, Jason Anderson, the Kings beat writer for the Sacramento Beat. Great stuff from him there. I got Michigan _beat. Man, him and his 317 followers are getting some run out of that damn tweet. Source says Franz Wagner has been promised he would be drafted by the Sacramento Kings.
The guy's living my dream, man. He's living my dream. I tried to do this years ago.
Believe you didn't do it.
One. Yeah, man.
Coward.
I just had no, I'm not going to say epiphany. I just had a thought.
Okay. What differentiates a thought from an epiphany in your mind?
Epiphany is just this. It's a major happening. Like, it's like, yo,
it's like WrestleMania.
Yes,
it's the Super Bowl.
Yes, like it's big. A thought is regular season. It's kind of came across my head.
I got you.
I gotta go to you for this one. I gotta ask you.
Okay.
Is Franz Wagner? Is he in the Mac Jones category for me?
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Is it as intense as Mac Jones?
No.
Okay.
No, because I don't think you believe Franz can make or break the Kings. But
good point.
Mac Jones would have broken you.
Yeah.
It would have literally just have broken you. It would have broken your fandom. But I think you were under the belief that Mac Jones selected as the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers would have broke that team and set them back for years. I don't think you feel that way.
I was ready to leave. That's true. I'm not ready to leave for Franz Wagner, but I'm not interested in drafting him at 9.
Yeah, I mean, is the decline that steep with Franz versus, you know, I know Moses Moody is the guy that you've had there. You know, Jalen Johnson is kind of different. And I appreciate Jason Anderson for pointing out the fact that I know he has stuff I don't throw the Duke thing in there as stuff. I thought he was unfairly criticized, particularly by someone. I think it was Dick Vitale who just trashed him one game.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, Dickie, I know you don't give a damn about this, but we are in the middle of a pandemic, as Jason pointed out there, or at least at the time we were. I don't know what phase of the pandemic we're in right now, but I still believe we're in the not good one. But he was like, yeah, listen, I'm not doing this. I've got a future to think about. Like I've got to. Oh, he left his teammates. Get out of here. But what are these guys going to? Are each of my teammates going to pay me $10 million next year? Okay, then. We ain't going to the NCAA championship. We ain't even going to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
I'm going to sit this one out, focus on my health, get ready for the draft next year. I didn't have again, I understand there was other stuff before that in terms of his commitment to certain teams. I didn't have a problem with him leaving Duke at all.
I didn't. It wasn't, like you said, especially last year and everything that was going on. Like it was just a weird year. And the most important thing was securing your future. And that's what he attempted to do with that one. But to your point, yeah, it's not a drop off for me when I look at Wagner and somebody like Moody or Jalen Johnson. It's the ceiling. The ceiling is a little different. I don't see Wagner. He's not a bad ball player. He can play, and I think he's going to be in the NBA for a little while. But he's going to be just this regular run-of-the-mill guy. And Moody and Jalen Johnson might be those type of guys as well. But I see the potential for their ceiling being much, much higher than Franz Wagner. And at number 9, you take a shot at somebody that can be potentially much, much better than somebody like Franz Wagner.
And that's Jalen Johnson to you.
Moses Moody first.
Moses, that's cap. Kenny Caraway mock draft 1.0 was Jalen Johnson.
That's because Moses Moody was already off the board.
In your mock draft?
Yes.
That you created?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a better player. So I think he was going to go. But then, I did my research or whatever, and it looks like Moses Moody will be there at 9. So I would take him over Jalen Johnson.
Yeah. Have you been working this week?
Yeah.
Because we got mock draft 4.0 coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm anxious to see it.
The funny thing about it now is when you get into this part where we're about 2 weeks away, you got a decision to make when you're making these mock drafts. You can make a change for change's sake, or you can realize that not much has happened, and you can kind of keep it the same. Or, you could read some tea leaves. You can read some tea leaves.
They get delivered on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can read some tea leaves and say, change might happen here based on some of the things I'm hearing and seeing and reading here. You're just going to have to find out tomorrow.
That's it. That's the tease. 24 hours. Be back with us tomorrow. Buddy Hield spoke to Chris Haynes recently on the Posted Up podcast. He was
everybody talked to Chris Haynes.
Yeah, apparently, except us.
I know. Yeah.
Not that we haven't tried. We've tried.
We got personal connections to the man, and just crickets.
Nothing. No love.
Phil, Chris. Damn.
We'll keep trying though, because that's what we do. We just keep trying. Our persistence will pay off. He was asked about. Chris asked Buddy about the Kings' inconsistencies last year.
Yeah, just very inconsistent. I'm not gonna lie. You said it right. We scored a stretch. We won 1, 7, 8, 9, and after we lose, drop off 9. Yeah. And we won against good teams, and then we lose against like 7, 8 that under 500 teams or just 500 teams. But like, just like our lock, our alertness is not there sometimes, and the good team just stay locked in all the time, and they figure it out no matter where you're playing. Just going there and finishing the job and doing the job collectively, get everybody on one string, one accord, and just locking them and just winning in basketball games. And just like, the best team, the team that's most consistent year round is gonna be the best team. Is gonna win it all. So I'm figuring it out. Thanks for that. We're just trying to figure it out.
The next time we talk to a player, assuming, of course, it's not a new player, but someone who was on the roster last year, we need to ask who brought the on a string line into the locker room, because we've heard so many players use that exact line. I need to know who that came from, whether it came from Luke or Alvin or Rex or Lindsey or somebody else. But that's a line that's obviously been echoed to them a lot this season because they all use it.
My guess is it would be Luke.
Of course you would. Of course you would think it was Luke. We all know why you would think it was Luke.
Well, first of all, that term is about as common as a layup.
But that's cap. It's not. It's very much not.
Absolutely is.
No, they're not. No, but you're telling me that the way that they all used it this year. I don't remember them talking about being on a string last year. You know, the
I don't
prior
remember
year
either. But I mean,
it's something someone brought into that locker room and drove home over and over and over again.
Well, maybe so. I mean, that's like I said, that's a term that's I taught 7th graders on a string.
Okay.
On a string. It's pretty common.
Okay. I get it. Then it's my imagination. Dumb question by me. I didn't hear Buddy De'Aaron, Tyrese Harrison, Rashawn, all of them use that same term over and over again.
Then it's Rex. If it's just from one year to the next. I mean, Rex is the only change.
That's what I was getting at, but I was trying to be fair to Luke.
Well, it was Rex. Didn't work out very well.
It didn't. Apparently they couldn't stay on it. Apparently it wasn't a string. It was a high wire. They couldn't stay on it. It was too difficult. There was no strings. There were no high wires. It was unraveled yarn or something. It was just a disaster. It wasn't working at all. You'll hear more of what Buddy Hield had to say to Chris Haynes. And I want to ask you this question. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it. We talked a lot about Marvin Bagley, moving on from Marvin Bagley's time being up, his time being up with the fan base and different things like that. And I don't want to pose this question just to you. I want to pose it to everybody listening and everybody watching on twitch.tv/ESPN1320 and youtube.com/ESPN1320 as well. Is Buddy's time here over? And can Buddy's place with the Sacramento Kings, is it still salvageable? Could it still be strong? We'll talk about that. We've got some other NBA topics to discuss as well, as the offseason is about to hit full swing here in the upcoming weeks. That's all on the way, plus another opportunity to win $1,000 on Sacramento's #1 sports station, Stilo and KC, here on ESPN 1320. I want to be safe.
Ooh, wait.
This Jordan.
I need to stretch a little bit more.
Man, I'm
normally do
today.
today.
My Jordan picture's crooked and it's driving me nuts. Oh, it's not Jordan, it's Malcolm. Malcolm's crooked.
That guard, 6'6", from North Carolina.
Both crooked.
Michael Jordan.
Damn it. Dude, how great of a find was this? That Rick Ross picture.
Oh yeah, that's fire right there.
I must
That's
have
big
not.
time.
I must have not have been in the studio when he came in. 'Cause I would have remembered meeting him.
Ricky Rose, the biggest.
I pulled that out the box. I was like, "Oh, I want to show you something else." Hang on.
Okay.
Right here. Hang on. I found my autograph can of
What is
pimp
that?
juice.
Oh my god!
Autographed by Nelly. Some pimp juice. This. I wonder when this goes bad. It looks awful.
You got that pimp juice.
I think you could literally die if you drink this right now.
Yeah, unpopular opinion. I didn't like that song that much.
And then no, that song was trash.
Ooh.
Them old G Unit Reeboks.
I mean, you might have to take a picture of those, bro.
They autographed though. What am I gonna do with that?
Just put them on. Take a picture.
G Unit. I can't.
Yeah, I know you got a tank top too. You gotta have a tank top.
Yeah, man. We rep Ricky Rose, man. I ain't posting no pictures in no G Unit shoes.
That's right. That's
that's why I kept these in the closet. They ain't even on display.
Yeah, that's right.
Ricky Rose boys. I just thought it was a
family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't do that.
We don't appreciate that.
We don't do that. But I found them. I was like,
that's not Carter somewhere. I definitely.
I thought I had some of those. But obviously they were the G Unit joints.
G Unit. Woo.
Actually, yes, he did. He absolutely did. Oh man, easily. Oh, that thing's got to be nasty. Just awful. I wonder if the website is still up. www. I'm afraid of what's. Yeah, the website is no longer active. No, this is decades old. This is. Yeah, you could buy pimp juice.
Have you ever had Rap Snacks?
No, but I thought about getting them just because they're part of the family.
I'm trying to stretch out Jazzy 510. That's all it is, man. Just stretching, standing up, and if I just stand up,
stand up. So you don't like that song either? Stand up. When I move, you move, just like that. Wow. Damian Barling and Kenny Caraway, the ludicrous hater here on ESPN 1320. The new Odyssey exclusive stations are curated for sports listeners like you. Find your new summer soundtrack. There are hundreds of new stations for summer barbecues, road trips, working out, or relaxing poolside. Check out the Beatbox channel with LL Cool J, Grandmaster Flash, the Fat Boys, and Salt and Pepper. You'll find your favorite artists on Odyssey, too, on the all-new Artist radio stations. Check out the new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app. You should already have the Odyssey app because you can listen to us anywhere in the world, anytime that you want. You could use the rewind feature. Like if you missed our conversation with Jason Anderson, like if you just opened the Odyssey app right now, you missed our conversation with Jason Anderson, you can hit the little scroll button. It DVRs the show for you and scroll back to 120, catch the whole conversation, and you won't miss a single minute of D-Lo and Casey. We'll be right here. We ain't going nowhere.
Genius technology.
People had always said, man, what if they had DVR for the radio? What if they had DVR for the radio? Well, they do. Also have podcasts, which is kind of DVR for the radio also, which is available on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast from. Or you could watch us. You could see these beautiful bottles behind us, these elaborate setups that we have. The Rick Ross autograph that I found when I moved. It's all of the fantastic things that we have going on here on the live stream on Twitch and YouTube, including our exclusive content coming up at the 2:13 break. It's the 13th round.
Yeah, man.
With Kenny Caraway. And man, we had an eventful call today. There's some things brewing for D-Lo and KC in the upcoming weeks that for the first time in almost a year of being on the air, we can say you're going to be a part of.
Let's go.
Like really, really be a part of.
Let's go.
Not virtually. So when the time is right to unveil all that, we definitely will. Of course, if the Kings trade the pick, there may be nothing to unveil. So we'll find out.
You might just be out there just hanging out.
You might just be out there doing a regular show. It might just be a regular show rather than an 8-hour show. We got some special things coming up here for sure. Buddy Hield, as we mentioned, he appeared on the Chris Haynes on the Posted Up podcast. one more thing I want you to hear, and this is Buddy talking about if he'll be a King next season.
I mean, that's not my problem. That's not my job. That's you leave the job up to Vivek and Monty. That's why you hire those guys to do that. You know, my job is to go there and play basketball, and like everybody goes to get the playoffs and win the championship. And we haven't been done that. And like I said, everything's not being smoothly. And I've seen my name in trade rumors, but I can't control that. But people, that's where writers and everybody envision what's the best for the players. So I'm just being ready to go into Sacramento each and every just offseason to go out there and play and compete. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I can't do nothing but that. I just have to go out there and just focus on how can I improve this summer, and if I get traded, how can I improve the next team for that come up year. So I can't worry. I'm not like the last 2 years I was worrying about that, but now I'm just focusing on just like how can I get better this offseason. So if I'm in Sacramento or on a different team, so I can be ready and help my team in basketball games.
It's Buddy Hill there again on the Chris Haynes podcast, on the Posted Up podcast. It feels like Marvin's relationship with Kings fans and potentially the organization is damaged. Mm-hmm. We include him in and there's a variety of reasons we include him in everything, whether it's his play, his status, or it's just the fact he's got an expiring contract next year, and the Kings probably aren't going to re-sign him. It just hasn't really worked out for anybody involved. Mm-hmm. But we're not there with Buddy, right?
I don't think so.
Like, Buddy can be a King next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think Buddy, because he talked about all of the work that he does and, just trying to get better, be better, do all of those things. Do you think Buddy Hield can still have a productive career as a member of the Sacramento Kings moving forward?
Absolutely. It really depends on how he wants to approach his career and his time here with the Sacramento Kings, and be honest with you, his time in the NBA. If he continues, and he talked about a little later on about starting and all this other stuff and him thinking that he's a starter. And we talk about it all the time. I don't have a problem with him feeling that way. I really don't. Like he's not the only guy in the league. Every guy in that league feels given the opportunity, they could average 20 a game, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just about the opportunity. So that's not exclusive to Buddy. And I wouldn't necessarily want him to feel any different. But when the time comes for him to be a bench guy, if Luke goes to him, Monty goes to him and says, hey, we're looking at you being a sixth man here, his approach would really determine how his time in Sacramento is going to go if he's still here. And that's the case, right? If he's pouting and trying to fight it the way seemingly he was 2 years ago, even though he played really well, he didn't like cause a scene or anything like that, but he let it be known numerous times that he wasn't happy with that. He didn't want nothing to do with that. If he kind of got rid of that, embrace the fact that, hey, this is where I'm at right now. This is the role that this team needs me to play in. I'm going to excel in this the best way I possibly can and be a positive influence for the team. He can absolutely succeed here in Sacramento and be a part of turning this whole thing around. I have no problem saying that.
Okay. He does have a skill set, as much as we joke about lines like, he's a flamethrower. He's one of the best this and that. Like because we watch, not only do we watch every game, we watch every minute of every game. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, I wish I could see Buddy through your eyes, because we don't see that. And maybe y'all are seeing the highlights, and maybe some of those people out there are looking at the box scores on the right day, and you're looking at the 3 for 13 from the field, 2 for 12 from 3. Maybe you're looking at that like it's an aberration. Right. Whereas we're looking at it like, nope, it's the 7 for 10 that's the aberration, right, or the 7 of 13 that's the aberration. It's the other one that comes across as the norm, and he's such a volume shooter. at this point that he feels. Sometimes I feel like Buddy is. I guess there's two ways you could look at this, but Buddy's fearless. He's going to get that shot to fall. You hear Doug and Mark say this all the time, or even Doug and Kyle. It's maddening sometimes. He just needs one to fall. He just needs one to fall. No, he doesn't. Because if one falls, he could miss the next 10. If he misses the next 10, he's still going to shoot the 11th.
Right.
Like he is. He believes, and I guess this is a good and a bad, depending. Yeah, depending on the caliber of player, he's fearless. There are very rare games, and there are some, but very rare moments where he may be like 1 of 6 or 1 of 7, and he'll pull back.
Mm-hmm.
And those games exist. You can find them, but most of the time it's like, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna get it. And it's like he hears the tape, or he hears Doug yelling it. Okay, he hit one. Here we go. He could get hot. He could get hot, and then he misses his next 7. Oh, he just needs the next one to fall. Well, damn. At some point, he's just not in a rhythm. At some point, the ball's just not falling for him, and he is a skilled shooter. I just don't think he's coming off a particularly good year.
And to be honest with you, Damian, I've been critical of Buddy's game, but I don't have a problem with that aspect of his game, that mentality. What I do have a problem with is him not finding a different way to get himself going. And what I mean by that is if he starts off 0 for 6, if he missed the last 6 3-pointers, don't be in a rush to shoot number 7. When you get that ball and you're look to attack, get a layup, get to the line.
Right.
Find a different way.
Right. And he has shown that he can be so effective doing that.
Yeah, find a different way. And that's where I really have the problem. I'm a shooter. I'm all about confidence and shooting out of it and all this other stuff. So if you're 0 for 12, I have no problem with you trying to go 1 for 13. Keep shooting. But it's the way you go about it. I would tell him at some point, hey, the threes aren't falling. Get to the cup a little bit. See the ball go through the basket with a layup or a free throw. Do it like that. He seems resistant to be able to do that. He'll just keep chucking up the same 3 over and over again. And that's where it becomes frustrating. But if he was somebody that you controlled the minutes a little better and you were able to control the minutes a little better, then have him coming off the bench and you can get a read on what kind of buddy that you have that night. If you have somebody that's cooking, you let him stay out there and ride it on out. If he doesn't have it that day, all right, you bring him back in and you go with the starters. If you could do that with the roster, and if Luke was able to do that just by having the wherewithal to do it, yeah, Buddy could be here, and he could be here throughout the duration of his contract. And look, if he succeeds in this role, I'll even tell you this. I have no problem with another contract for Buddy.
Okay, stop. Calm down. We're a long way from that. We don't need to start talking about more contracts for Buddy. Let's get through this one.
That's a tough one to get through. But the next one won't be like this one. That's why I say that. Yeah, it'll be a lot cheaper and a lot more reflective of what his role is in this league.
And it'll be 47.
Maybe he'll be like Satchel Paige or Guillermo Rigondeaux. That's for my 13th rounders.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he's an interesting one to watch. I do think he has more value, obviously, than Marvin does. Mm-hmm. And when you listen to people like Chris Haynes, we make the Jackie McMullen joke all the time from the clip that we aired of her talking with Bill Simmons. I don't think the rest of the league looks at Buddy the way we look at him here in Sacramento. And maybe it's because what we talked about earlier, they don't see him every night. They don't watch 48 minutes of Kings basketball and 30 some odd minutes of Buddy Hield each night. They don't get the maddening stuff with the good stuff. Now, not to say that, there are coaches watch games. Mm-hmm. They have to game plan for Buddy. Mm-hmm. But the game plan it's really pretty easy. It's the perimeter. He's going to shoot contested or mostly contested shots. He's going to shoot with people in proximity, mm-hmm. and he's not going to do those other things, or at least he's very rarely going to do those other things that you just talked about right there in terms of penetrating to the basket or in terms of mid-range shots and in terms of getting to the bucket, getting to the foul line. things like that. Hell, we went over his foul, performances, his free throw line performances last week, which was, it's still mind-boggling to think a player at his position got to the foul line as little as he did. It was like 30 some odd games that he didn't go, almost half the season, not quite. Almost half the season, the dude did not go to the foul line.
That don't make no damn
That's
sense.
insane. That is absolutely insane. But it's what happened, and he doesn't go very often. He went 6 times once. In most games, he went, if he went multiple times, he went 4, and that was it. And there's speculate whether it's bonuses or incentives or whatever. It's weird to see.
Hey, I've said it before. I'll continue to say it, and he probably won't like it. If Buddy came off the bench, he'd be a great 6-man. If he embraced that Terrence role, Lou Williams role, he'd be a great 6-man.
Agree. You're listening to D'Lo and Casey on ESPN 1320 KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, an Odyssey station driven by Lashers, Elk Grove Dodge. He's Kenny Caraway. I'm Damian Barling. We're thrilled that you're here with us on the Odyssey app or on 1320 AM, or if you're watching on twitch.tv/ESPN1320 or youtube.com/ESPN1320. We hope that if you're watching, you'll hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button as well. We've got the 13th round coming up exclusively on Twitch and YouTube in about 11 minutes. We've got your next opportunity to win $1,000 coming up in about 8 minutes or so. You asked this question about Ben Simmons to start the show, and there's a lot more we're going to get into today. We've got a couple of more NBA things we want to touch on, and we've got to touch more on Shohei Ohtani, the home run derby last night, the All-Star game, the fallout from Stephen A's remarks, all of that stuff. And I was just, Shohei Ohtani Shohei Ohtani is a reason to watch baseball. Mm-hmm. But right now, Ohtani is really, really high on the list of reasons to watch sports, period. And we'll talk more about that as we roll along. And the home run derby in all was a lot of fun. But you asked this question to start the show as we were talking about the Ben Simmons report from Marc Stein about, the Philadelphia fielding calls from Sacramento and Toronto. And I think you said Indiana was in there. Cleveland was another team in there. All non-playoff teams. Or I think Indiana did make the playoffs, but teams that were all postseason. There you go. Yeah. Could Buddy? You asked whether Ben Simmons could help a contender, because none of those teams are contenders that we talked about. And you said, what contender, really looks at Ben Simmons and goes, this guy is going to be the one who could take us to championship. I threw out Golden State to you. You gave me that one. We couldn't name a ton of others, which is fine. Could Buddy be a difference maker, on a contender, like Los Angeles, for example, either Los Angeles, for example, a Milwaukee or obviously Brooklyn, it's hard to put them into the equation, but could Buddy be a difference, a potential player who pushes a team into the Larry O'Brien conversation?
Yeah, because of his shooting ability and I can imagine him being on one of those teams having a defined role, right? He's not going to be looked at as, a second or third best player on the team. He's looked at right now as you're equated to somebody right now like a Mikal Bridges or a Cam Johnson or something like that. Just a pure sniper, and maybe you're, like I said, 4th or 5th best player in the on the roster. So in that aspect, yeah, absolutely could help a team get another. Be a little more versatile out there.
Okay. Just throwing it out there. I could see him on both LA teams. I'm not trying to be funny. I do think he fits in Philadelphia. But the thing is, I think he fits in Philadelphia, and I don't see a way this works. But I actually think he fits in Philadelphia if Ben Simmons is there. Because you have a guy who's, you talked about this. We talked about this extensively. You pointed out at the end of the season, one of the reasons that the Kings were better defensively, and we understand the kind of the end of the season thing that happens where teams are just trying to get through the season. And sometimes you see things that aren't really there, whether it's an improved defensive effort, whether it's a team that's not very good making a run. Maybe it's a combination of all of those different things. We believe the defensive talent on the Sacramento Kings was better. And we believe that the defensive effort was better as the season came to a close last year. And you attribute a lot of that to the fact that Marvin was gone and Buddy, Marvin and Buddy are considered the worst defenders in the starting lineup, right?
Yeah.
And you had always pointed out, you can hide one, you can't hide two.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you were hiding Buddy last year at the end of the season when Marvin was out, it paid off. If you have Buddy in Philadelphia, you could absolutely hide him on a team that can be solid, that could be more than solid, but can be really good defensively. And with that, maybe that helps Buddy improve defensively. I know his instincts are there. I always get squeamish when talking about a player's basketball IQ. I don't feel like I'm in a position to discuss a basketball player's IQ, but I've heard people I trust who have the accolades, including yourself, to talk about his basketball IQ not being the strongest. I think he can get stronger on that side of the court in Philadelphia, but I think Ben Simmons has to be there. You know what I mean? So Buddy in Philadelphia with Ben Simmons, I think that's a title contender. Buddy in Philly without Ben Simmons, I need to see what else they do before I consider them a title contender. So yes, the long ass answer to your question, I absolutely believe Buddy can be a difference maker on a contender.
The other thing that I think about with Buddy in Philadelphia, and like if with Simmons there, and if he was part of a trade, sending him to Philly and Ben Simmons here, is if I'm the Sixers, what's the difference between Buddy Hield and Seth Curry? Or hell, to be honest with you, would I rather have Buddy Hield or Shake Milton?
No, I don't think so. Well, no, I think he's better than Shake Milton. Offensively, I think he is. Seth, maybe. I don't know about, but
maybe. Shake don't play though for whatever reason in Philly. You don't play enough. Well, that's Doc Rivers doing Doc Rivers things.
Oh, okay. That was uncalled for.
Well, I'm just saying the guy wins you game 2. He barely sees the court again after that.
Who needs the man, boy? I tell you, who needs the man when you've got Kenny Caraway here?
I think now that Ty Lue is my favorite coach, I think all that energy has gone to Doc Rivers.
Apparently, I see that. Well, he's got to take the heat. Hey, like we could blame this all on Ben Simmons, but there's a lot of heat on Doc. Yeah. There should be a lot of heat on Doc Rivers' shoulders as well.
Absolutely. It's just good that I was one of the few people that believed in Ty Lue all along.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You realize this show like lives, like old episodes of this show are readily available on Odyssey and Apple and Spotify and Google Play.
And you'll find me celebrating Ty Lue.
That is such a lie. I believe Ty Lue got the funny and the light distinction, if I remember correctly.
I mean, I think it was taken out of context.
Oh, taken out. You were misquoted.
I was misquoted.
You were misquoted. Oh man, that was one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest lines ever. Charles Barkley said he was misquoted in his autobiography, written by Charles Barkley. No. That's not what I said. That's terrible. That is not what I said. Man. Oh, that's one of the all-timers.
Come on, Chuck.
And because it's Chuck, you're just kind of like, all right, forget it. That's fine.
Hey, man, he made a mistake. He can make a mistake.
Yeah, that's facts. I got to be quicker on the draw here. Oh, so slow. I don't even know where that soundbite is. My bad.
My mistake. I can make a mistake.
My mistake was not hitting that button quick enough.
Here comes the money.
Just getting ready for this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Oh,
here comes the money.
It's back. The Summer of Cash contest. Here's your chance to win $1,000 by texting the code word MASTER. Text MASTER to 72881. That's MASTER. to 72881.
9 trillion words in the English dictionary.
There are not. There's about 10, and we use them multiple times per week. Text master to 72881. This is a multi-state contest. Message and data rates apply. And remember, don't text and drive. No worries, though. The 3 o'clock word has nothing to do with the 2 o'clock word, unlike an earlier episode of D'Lo and Casey.
Yeah. Well, that's I don't even know what's. They need to talk to what was my girl's name? Kalia. Ask her for some new words.
Who's Kalia?
Kalani, Kalia, the spelling bee champion.
Oh,
who's like apparently the most.
I don't want her words
on earth.
Yeah, I don't want her words because we'd have to spell them out, use them in a sentence. You'd have people struggling.
The young lady's the most talented person on earth.
She who? She does everything.
She does everything.
With the 9th selection of these. No, okay, maybe that's a little premature for that. We've got one more opportunity for you to win $1,000 in the Summer of Cash contest coming up 1 hour from right now. Plus, I don't know that we've mentioned this today. I know we mentioned it yesterday. We're going to redraft the 2013 and 2012 NBA draft. We've got to be almost done with this. This is failing miserably. The reason we're doing 2013 and 2012 is because 2013 is awful. It is absolutely awful. In 2012, we're doing just because I'm going to be amused when the Sacramento Kings are at 5 and Kenny has to make the selection that we know he doesn't want to make.
Okay. There's nothing amusing about that. And who
it's
knows
funny to me
exactly how we're going to do this.
The
thing.
Kings are getting an all-star today, baby. And it's the all-star that disgruntles Kenny Caraway the most. And they're getting it into that. We're only getting one all-star. We're 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. 6 drafts in. We'll be 7 drafts in. We'll be in our 8th draft before we land an all-star.
Wow.
And this is with hindsight, remember.
It wasn't Vladdy's fault.
No, that's cap. It still was Vladdy's fault. We still would have wound up with great players. We would have ended up with really good players.
It wasn't Pete's fault.
Okay, now you're going to piss people off. We'll step out and we'll come back. A couple of other NBA things that we've got to talk about. There are some things that we missed yesterday, including Kenny's thoughts on Conor McGregor and the Washington football team, what they had to say. But the 13th round begins over on Twitch and YouTube, and D'Lo and Casey are back on the Odyssey app and on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320.
Hey. What's going on, man? 13th round with your man, Kenny Caraway. And today, I want to talk about a little bit of news that came out here. As you guys know, it's Charlo week. Jamel going up against Costanzo, trying to unify and be undisputed at 154. So we'll talk about that throughout the week. David, I see you. I'm almost finished with the Kings. I got 1 episode left. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I just love those guys. I love the Kings. Like the Sacramento Kings and the 4 Kings. I love them both. But today, I wanted to talk about this tweet, this bit of information that came out. Eddie Hearn, who really just runs his mouth constantly, like just talks and talks and talks. But Eddie Hearn has claimed Al Heyman's PBC will prefer to do a 3-fight deal with Canelo, starting with Caleb Plant. Hearn insisted this defeats the point of Canelo's status as a network free agent, but said Canelo is open to a 1-fight deal with Plant. Now, Eddie Hearn, you said that it defeats the purpose of Canelo being a network free agent. You mean the same way he signed with you in his own for a 2-fight deal? I mean, Eddie Hearn is look, you've got a business. You're trying to run a business. I understand you're going to fight for that business first. I get it. But don't parade around here like, oh, I'm trying to do what's best for boxing, when you're really just trying to get everything on the zone. Yeah, that's all you're trying to do. And I thought about this earlier. The zone really don't give you much anything. I like the boxing show with Ak and Barack because I like those dudes. But other than that, they're not giving us top fights. You know what I mean? They're not giving us the biggest stars. We got Canelo on there. We got AJ on there. But most of the times, they're fighting bums. And I'll ask you guys a question. If you had 10, I don't know, it might be $15 a month now to spend on a streaming service, on a boxing service, would it be Showtime or the Zone? To me, clearly Showtime. Clearly, because the Zone they're not bringing it. The Zone is a great concept. It has great potential, but Eddie Hearns isn't delivering. He's not delivering. So, look, man, you just had Canelo on a 2-fight deal when he was already supposed to be a network free agent. You just had him on a 2-fight deal. PBC now trying to get him on a 3-fight deal, and all of a sudden that defeats the purpose. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Canelo's not fighting Plant, and he gonna try and set up this triple G trilogy, and don't nobody want to see that. Triple G is 97 years old. He was past his prime maybe the first 2 times, and he might have been a little overrated to begin with. And don't nobody want to see a 3rd fight from that. That's what he's trying to do right now. Eddie Hearn, do the right thing. If you're an advisor, like you're saying that you are for Canelo, do the right thing. Put him with Fox and PBC so we can get the fights that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? And let this man cash out too. That's the other thing. This guy could make $150 in that 3-fight deal. $150 million, in that 3-fight deal. Do the right thing, Eddie Hearn. Step out the way. Let the man do what he's supposed to do. 13th round.
The $150 line made me laugh. Like, damn, it's rough over there in the 13th round. Jeez.
$150 million.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Download the Odyssey app and discover hundreds of new exclusive music stations available now for sports and music fans by sports and music fans. Check out Guitars and Glitter.
Oh, okay.
If you can't figure out what that means, I can't help you. But the station's called Guitars and Glitter.
Can't help me out then.
No, can't help you. Cannot help you. I saw that name and I was like, wait a minute. Clicked on it. I was like, yep, got it. All right, go take a listen to that. Guitars and Glitter. It's the new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app and brought to you in part by Macy's and Geico. Odyssey leading the way, as it always does, in music and audio distribution. A couple of other things here before we get into baseball. Actually, a couple of things that we missed yesterday. I know you kind of alluded to the Conor McGregor stuff yesterday. I believe you wanted a ban, and I think we talked about this post show on the live stream. You want a ban. You're tired of tuning in and seeing broken legs.
Yeah, man. So I mean, look, this is a novice's opinion, and I understand I'm in the minority with this because I guess other people don't seem to care. UFC fans certainly don't seem to care. But I don't know why they got to put their biggest stars in danger constantly with these leg kicks. I propose a ban on leg kicks below the knee.
Your proposal has been taken, considered, and rejected. They're not going to ban leg kicks below the knee.
I know they're not. But and they don't care.
But they don't often. What I think you're missing.
They're not going to get me watching.
They don't really try to kick below the knee. You normally try to kick like in the thigh, in it, like you can see people weaken there. You don't want to kick
they go for the shin. That's where they always break the leg.
No, they're checking the kick. That's why, like when they're bringing their leg up to check the kick, and that's when it hits their shin. That's when their leg, now one leg, becomes two separate pieces.
Ugh. Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's a bad look. What really, can we just put Conor McGregor out to pasture? Can we be done with this? I don't know why Dana White keeps holding. I get maybe he keeps making money. I don't know what the buy rates.
He made a ton of money this past weekend. Ton of money.
I guess
it's probably gonna be like 1.8 million buys for that paper.
Stop it.
Yeah.
1.8.
Yeah.
There are if you ever wondered how many stupid people are in the world, the answer is 1.8 million. Y'all paid 1.8 million people paid to see that dude still.
Yeah,
this
man.
dude has lost 3 of his last 4 fights. He's lost 2 in a row. He's not even remotely entertaining. His shtick is old. Him laying on the ground talking about putting a bullet in Dustin's head. It's all played. Dude is trash. It's over. The fact that y'all are still, this ain't even on Dana White. Because if Dana White can just continue to take advantage of the stupid people who purchased this, more power to him. But if you bought that fight, not if you went to a bar, not if you had a fight party where it cost like $5 a head or $2 per head. If you bought that fight, you should be ashamed of yourself and you deserve to have your money taken.
I mean,
that dude is not a draw anymore. Or I guess he is a draw, but he ain't worth watching anymore.
He's a draw to a certain demo.
He's a draw. That's my bad. That's my bad. I worded that wrong. He's obviously a draw. I just
he a draw to me. I like to see him get his ass beat.
To see him.
I love to see him get his ass beat. That won't never get old. That's why I tune in for that all the time. See him get slapped around.
1.8 again. This dude has lost 3 or 4 fights. Like even headed into the fight yesterday, it was kind of like, or headed into this weekend, it's like, is this still a thing? Like it's one thing when you're the guy, and there's no question, Conor was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just a guy who loses.
So
just the guy who and maybe that's the thing. Conor's so polarizing. You either really love him and you're just hoping that he gets that win, or you're entertained by his shtick, or you hate him and you're just paying to watch him get his ass beat.
Yeah, or you're not paying to get his ass beat to watch him get his ass beat.
We don't condone that type of behavior.
Some people that I may or may not know may have gone that route. I'm just telling you that's out there as well.
Not familiar with that whatsoever.
I don't know nothing about that.
And apparently 1.8 million people aren't either.
But I'll also say this when you talk about Conor McGregor. You talk about putting him out the pasture. Not like you said, number one, they just did 1.8.
Yeah, can't.
Number two, he got about 3 major fights lined up.
How do you have major fights lined up when you can't win? Like, don't you have major fights lined up? Don't you have major fights lined up when you win? How do you just keep losing? Oh, he's got another big fight. How?
These
do
guys,
you treat all your UFC fighters like that, or just Conor?
Just Conor, because Conor makes the rules for Dana White. But he's got 3 lined up. He's got the comeback fight. When he comes back, he could fight a stick in that fight and be perfectly fine. Then he's got the rematch with Poirier if they want to do that. And they always have the 3rd fight with Nate Diaz lined up. He got paydays lined up.
I hate Conor's act, and I do think it's an act. Like, I don't think he's that big of a D-bag.
Oh, no, I don't think it's an act at all.
I don't think it's an
act at all.
Really?
Yeah, I think he is who he is.
No,
he's exactly what you see.
I disagree. I think it's an act. I think it's just shtick that it gets 1.8 million people to buy. That's what this is all about. Like, we were talking about the face of sports, and we were talking about the face of baseball yesterday. With combat sports, you actually have to talk people into seeing you. You have to, they say, talk people into the seats, talk people into the buys. Conor McGregor, whether I like it or not, can talk people into doing that. His stuff with Diaz it's incredible. Yeah. Like, because it feels like those two have built up like legitimate hatred for each other.
Yeah.
And whether it's real or it's a work, both of them have gotten very, very wealthy off of it.
Yeah. No, Conor is who he is. Like, I know there's people who think that Floyd Mayweather is the biggest jerk in the world, right? And there's reasons for thinking that, or whatever the case may be. But you'll get people that associate what Floyd Mayweather when the cameras are off or on a daily basis, and they'll be like, man, Floyd, he got the heart of gold, man. He a good dude. He's misunderstood, or whatever the case may be. I don't know any of that. I'm not around Floyd. I don't know who he really is or isn't. But you'll have people who will vouch for him. There ain't nobody that vouches for Connor. There ain't nobody that, like, when they get in the interview about a little ESPN E60 thing, Connor, he's got a heart of gold. He really is a good dude. Ain't nobody doing that because he is who he is.
Okay. I feel like this conversation could go in like a million different directions. So maybe we should put all of this in the Trevor Bauer, Deshaun Watson box.
I didn't even go there.
But you didn't go there, but it was there. Like it's there. Let's put it in a box. We put it in a different box. Let's just put it away. Let's put it away and keep it moving. Because there's another story that we missed yesterday. The Washington football team president, Jason Wright, says the new team will announce a new name and logo. A new team name and a new team logo coming in 2022. Any guesses on what the current Washington football team may be?
Well,
it's not Warriors.
Yeah, they said Warriors is out.
It's not Warriors, and it's not anything tied to
the judicial system.
I don't believe it's anything tied to the judicial system either.
I think I forgot what the name was because I know a couple of football team fans in my life, and they really liked. What was it that they liked? It's like Thunderwolves or some. It made sense. Like, it's obviously not Thunderwolves, but it was
Timberwolves. The Washington Timberwolves. That won't get difficult to remember.
It wasn't the Washington Timberwolves. It was maybe somebody. Red Wolves. Red Wolves. Tim Morris says it in the chat. Red Wolves, I think, was the one.
Washington Red Wolves.
Yeah.
Huh.
That may be where they go with it.
Okay. Well, hey, it's not my football team, so y'all like it, I love it.
Washington names. I was thinking the other day, and I know why they didn't do it. I understand. Very commendable. I like the Washington Bullets.
Let's put that in a box and just put it over here. Well, no, I know why they changed it.
I get it, and I'm not going to go. It was Abe Pollin. I'm not going to be associated with that. And like I said, it's commendable. I
you got to remember at the time too what Washington was.
I get it. I understand it. I get it. I just
probably good. Yeah, of course we wish they didn't have to.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. I wish they didn't have to go there because it was.
It's weird though. The name's gone, but if you want a Bullets jersey, you could probably find one.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't be difficult.
It's not hard at all.
I mean, the Jordan throwback Bullets jersey was pretty coveted there in the early 2000s.
Wes Unseld, his Bullets jersey. You can find that anywhere. Chris Webber, I think, actually probably has one now too.
Yeah. Was he on? I think he was on the last Bullets team, wasn't he?
I think so. That's phenomenal knowledge. That is great knowledge because Mitch went to the Wizards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's great knowledge by you.
Maya Moore's 30 for 30 debuts tonight. So if you're looking, I think this is. Oh, that might be at the same time as the Major League Baseball All-Star game, but catch it at some point. The Maya Moore 30 for 30. It's going to be an extraordinary piece. She had cameras following her around for a while. This is going to be a good story. I'm anxious to see this. That's tonight. Yeah. And the All-Star game is tonight. Obviously, you could hear it on ESPN 1320. The home run derby last night was pretty damn entertaining.
It was very entertaining.
I tuned in exclusively for Shohei Ohtani. But I found myself really walking away going, this is Pete Alonso guy.
Pete Alonso is a beast.
He was like listening to him. He came across as, I don't know how to describe him when he was talking. Like he was very dry, but he had personality, but he was really focused on what he was doing. Like he went there this wasn't like extracurricular activity. He went there to win.
Yes.
He wanted to win the home run derby, and he did. And he was talking about, New York hip hop, and he had Biggie playing and Nas and Mobb Deep. He dropped I'm not superstitious, I'm a little stitious reference there, which is a great Office reference. Like, I just found myself, as I was listening to him after that, phenomenal first round, and this dude's really likable.
Nah, Pete Alonso, he's a star. The polar bear is what he is, man. He's a star. He looked at that situation, and all eyes were on the home run derby because of Shohei Ohtani, and he looked at that as an opportunity for himself. And I mean, he was already a star. He's a big star already in New York, biggest city in America. But for guys out here in California who don't watch a lot of Mets baseball, he's been that dude for the last couple of years, man. And it was just another opportunity for him to showcase not only his skills, but his personality as well.
His first round will be, remembered for a long time, especially because he won. This isn't a Josh Hamilton thing where you're going to remember it forever and forget, oh, he actually lost that home run derby. You'll remember the first round, how extraordinary he was because he won. But the way he won, like actually won at the end, was pretty awesome. It was bombs.
All he did was hit bombs all night long.
Whereas
that's all he did.
And then again, to speak to you for the people like me, admittedly, who tuned in to see Shohei Ohtani, the thing that I walked away with, as it pertains to Shohei Ohtani, like Pete Alonso put on a fantastic show. And this is, by the way, an event I normally don't really like. But the adjustments that they've made have made it a little better. And I loved Ken Griffey Jr., by the way. Ken Griffey Jr. being a part of the broadcasting team, because he still very much sounds like the kid.
Oh yeah.
When he talks, it sounds like it's 1989. Like he absolutely sounds like the kid. And he actually looks like the kid, just with a little bit of gray hair and a little huskier than he used to be.
But he looked the same.
It happens.
Little grown man weight.
Well, that's it. Nothing wrong with that. Ohtani's, hitting line drives and ground balls and, solid doubles to the outfield.
Right.
And he's smiling through the whole thing. And I posted this on Twitter that he reminds me of a young Magic Johnson, where he's just smiling. Like, he smiles through everything. There was a clip where, if you were watching it, he like at two different points, he bumped into a cameraman, right? He bumps into a camera and he's like, oh my gosh. Like, he's telling the cameraman, like, I'm sorry. And he's almost like, is the camera okay? Like, is everybody okay? And the cameraman's like, hey, we're good. And he's smiling. And then he runs into the girl who's bringing him the Gatorade and the towel, and he's doing the whole thing. He's gassed at one point after hitting home run after home run. He's got his hands on his knees and he's smiling through the whole thing. And all I could think is, how could this dude not be the face of baseball? Like, how could you think what this guy has to offer is anything but phenomenal for this sport? He was just like, I was complete. I didn't hear him speak. I didn't hear him say a word. I didn't hear his interpreter speak. I didn't hear his interpreter say a word. I was watching him. I was watching the way that he smiled. I was watching the way he interacted with people. And I was watching him make a run trying to get back into it after a rough start to the home run derby. And I just kept thinking, this dude is perfect for this sport.
I got vibes, and I tweeted it out as well. There was Vince Carter in Oakland in 2000 vibes with Shohei when it was his turn to step into the batter's box. It was like, all right, this show has started. Let's see what this is all about. And for him, they spent like the first 2 minutes just hitting line doubles down the line. And Soto went crazy for 22. Like, he's not going to be able to get this. And then Ohtani just gets locked in and does what he does and ties it in that first round.
And it took a while.
Yeah. And he was just gassed while doing it. But I look at this, and there's so much back and forth. This is one thing that I saw, yesterday. There's so much about face of baseball and other stuff. I think baseball's in a good place in general with the young guys. They haven't been around long enough, and they haven't had moments on the biggest stage to ingratiate themselves and introduce themselves to the general sports public, I don't think. But off the top of my head, Tatis Jr., Acuna, Ohtani, Pete Alonso, Soto could even be in that group. I mean, these guys are stars. They're fun to watch. They're guys that you tune in for. And that's before you talk about Mookie Betts. That's before you even talk about, I mean, this guy, he gets raked through the coals all the time. But Mike Trout is fun to watch. Mike Trout is one of the great baseball players we'll ever see in our time. The biggest thing, like we talked about yesterday, isn't necessarily Mike Trout not saying anything. It's the fact that he's playing meaningless baseball every year. You know what I'm saying? So I know everybody wants to put one singular face on the sport, but I look at it collectively, and with all these guys from a number of different backgrounds, coming from different ethnicities and cultures and things of that nature, to be in a game like Major League Baseball and bring their own flair and their own style to it. I think baseball could potentially be in a great spot if all these guys could get in a winning situation and be on the main platform of the playoffs, or at the very least in the pennant race every year.
Yeah, but the problem is, you said potentially. Like, it's not there yet for me. I agree with every other thing that you said about the young guys in the sport who have personality and who can be exciting. Not because of the way that they talk, but because of the way that the way that they play. Most importantly, the way that they play, but the personality that they show out on the field. And that's one of the things. That's why baseball is in the position that it's in, is because it's always been that unwritten rule that you don't show personality on the field. You don't show guys up. You don't throw bats. You don't flip this. You don't do that. Well, it seems like with this influx of talent that you just mentioned right there, there is a little bit more of that. And you are getting, I just talked about Shohei Ohtani smiling. That's part of his personality, right? That's who he is. Fernando Tatis, he has a personality that you could see. Acuna, you mentioned him, Juan Soto. All of those guys have personalities. And not only do they need to be playing in meaningful baseball games, but they need to be playing in meaningful baseball games, and they need to have those big clutch performances to where they're highlighted.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones, okay. All right. Here's that moment for Acuna. Here's that moment for Juan Soto. Here's that moment for Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout or whoever. They have to have. We talked about this with base. We talked about this with Devin Booker. Devin Booker's always been good, but it's like there was I thought, in my opinion, a completely fair question to, like, are we overrating Devin Booker? Like, it's fine to be a really good ball player, but if you're not a good ball player in the postseason, what are you?
Right.
Well, Devin Booker has resoundingly answered that this postseason.
Right.
And that's what some of these guys, that's what all of those guys that you just named had to do or have to do.
And one of the things about this as well, and maybe this is just a personal quirk, but Damian, one of the things that I like in life is I like my options. I like variety. And when I say that is, to enjoy these guys, I don't need, nor do I want, everybody to be Fernando Tatis. Because if everybody was Tatis and, doing the signature skip at third base and all this other stuff, then it wouldn't be special what he's doing.
Sure.
I need a Tatis to go with my Ohtani and Mike Trout. And then you bring Vlad Guerrero Jr. in there and then Soto. I need a number of different varieties. And like I said, the biggest thing with all these guys isn't the promos or the talking or anything like that, in my opinion. It's doing it on the biggest stage. And that's the right now, the way I look at it, you got only two of these guys will be on the biggest stage in the National League. That's Pete Alonso and Tatis Jr. And then in the American League, it's even more bleak. You got Vlad Guerrero, he's 8 games back. The Angels, they're 9 games back. We're not going to see these guys, more likely than not. We're not going to see him. Even the other guy, and I watch a lot of baseball. I wasn't familiar with what's my man's name? Trey Mancini. I wasn't really familiar with his story and what he was able to do and what he was able to do as a ball player.
Yeah.
And we're not even going to see him. They're in last place. The Orioles are one of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying fix the league or anything to get these guys in here that are very good, but I think that hurts more than anything. The fact that these guys aren't going to be on the biggest stage.
And that's, as I watched Juan Soto hit yesterday, I don't know what Juan Soto's doing this year. I'm not following, but what I remember him the most for was the Nationals run.
Mm-hmm.
And his run in the postseason into the World Series, and then the Washington winning that World Series the year after Bryce Harper leaves.
Yep.
That's what I remember the most about Juan Soto, because those are the moments you remember the most.
Mm-hmm.
Home run derbies are fun. There's certainly been some historical achievements, particularly by Shohei Ohtani this year, or whether it's a no-hitter, those types of different things. Those are fun too. But you take a no-hitter in June from pitcher A, but put that same pitcher in game 1 of the World Series, and it's a one-hitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remember the one-hitter a lot more than the game in June or May or April.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, on the flip side, here's a whole nother dynamic that Major League Baseball was winning with. Last year, during the postseason and in the playoffs, and they had some great games and some great moments, I watched them. We talked about them. I remember I was all hyped up the playoffs. It was real base, like it was all good. You know who didn't watch and who wasn't interested last year in the playoffs? My son Reese. You know who was engaged and loved the home run derby last night?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was your son Reese.
It was my son Reese. And that is a part of building these fans. Ohtani, okay. He does this all the time. Alonso, he does this all the time. Wow. Like, whoa.
But what brought him to the TV, though? Was it Ohtani? Was it you? Like, what made him say, I want to see this?
It was me, but it's as an introduction. It's easier to get him to stay to see people hitting 400, 500-foot bombs than in the playoffs saying, son, sit down and watch this game with me. It might be 2-1, but this is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one thing about a home run derby as an introduction to the game that I think they nailed last night. They created stars. They created people that I'm a follow. Okay, I ain't been paying attention to what Juan Soto's been doing this year, but let me check him out. Pete Alonso, they're in first place. Let me check them out. It helped create stars last night.
We'll discuss on that further, because the star of star last night, of course, Shohei Ohtani. We talked about getting him out of an Angels uniform, getting him into meaningful baseball. Well, it's going to be a couple of more years, and what's it going to cost? Some of us learned his salary in his contract structure last night. And man, you talk about the greatest bargain in sports. We'll dial into that more. Plus what Marc Stein said about the Sacramento Kings and Ben Simmons. And the draft is coming up just 2 weeks away. Maybe we'll get a little peek at KC's mock draft 4.0 that's coming out tomorrow. All of that is coming up, plus the redraft of the 2013-2012 season and another chance at $1,000 here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320.
House show.
Man, I'm not hitting these breaks, man. Sorry.
Good. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So the Thunderdome era came to a conclusion yesterday. And the first live show is going to be SmackDown this Friday. Then Money in the Bank is going to be live. And then they're basically just doing they're basically staying out east. They're not in like full travel mode yet. But they're hanging out east, and they're going to be doing live shows. And I've been so curious. I have to imagine they're going to do something relatively big Friday, because you're in front of a live crowd for the first time, like a real live crowd, not like the WrestleMania live crowd, which I think they would have just been better off being at like NXT or something. And it's Fox. And I think Fox is kind of looking at them sideways like, dude, nobody's watching this show. We're going to need you to do something about it. So watching what WWE does on social media the next couple of days, I think will be interesting, because they obviously want to promote the show. They want to get eyeballs on the show. Obviously, I think they want things to be a surprise, but you've got to get people to tune in. Like I'm looking here, Warren's got Brock Lesnar showing up on Monday. Tim's got Becky Lynch showing up on Friday. Patrick's wondering if we could see a title change. I think we see something big Friday. I don't know if it's a title change. I don't know if it's Becky, Brock. I don't know what it is. I think we see something big. And I normally be like, oh, something big to build into Sunday. Well, they don't really structure themselves like that, because you don't have to buy the pay-per-view anymore. Like you watch Money in the Bank for $5 now. You watch it for nothing. So they have so much going on, and this is July. So this is, unless they're doing 2 this month, this is the last pay-per-view before SummerSlam in Vegas. So if any of these rumors are true, you have the ability to spread them out a little bit. Like there's John Cena rumors out there. You have the ability to, kind of play that out a little bit. The Brock Lesnar one, the Becky Lynch one. Like, I think it's brilliant. I know there were rumors Becky Lynch was going to come back at WrestleMania. I think it's so smart that they held off until they're back consistently in front of live crowds, so you can get that good reaction. And I saw that picture of her on social media yesterday, and holy crap. Like, if she's not coming back, like, she looks ready to come back for sure. And I know Dave Meltzer's been writing, and I think we talked about this last week. He's been writing about Cena and Roman Reigns as a SummerSlam match, and his movie work doesn't conflict with that at all. So we'll see, man. But I'll be tuned in Friday. I'll definitely be tuned in Friday. I want to see what it looks like, and it's a 2-hour show. I can handle a 2-hour show. Something about that third hour is just Tim, this is a great point. I cannot wait to see how the live crowd reacts to Roman Reigns. He's flawless, and I can't wait to see how the crowd reacts to him now that he's finally a bad guy, and a great bad guy at that.
That's right. He hasn't been a bad guy with the crowd.
Nope. Only at WrestleMania, and I think that WrestleMania crowd, it's not that WrestleMania crowd was trash. It was just that I think WWE grossly overestimated or underestimated, like, your outdoors and your social distance is going to sound like crap. Looking for sports betting content all day long? The BetQL network is now available nationwide on the Odyssey mobile app and a website. Over 10,000 home and auto-connected devices, and at BetQLnetwork.com. This is wagertainment for every fan, morning, afternoon, and night. Betting angles throughout the day, insights from local and national experts, entertaining content to keep both casual and hardcore bettors engaged. Get sports betting tips from the best in the game. BetQL Network, streaming now on Odyssey. We're going to redraft the 2013-2012 draft. Both of them. We're redrafting both of them because 2013 is a disaster. And 2012, it's just for my own personal amusement. I can't lie. And I think most of you will be amused by it too, because it's going to happen, and Kenny's going to have to make this. As a matter of fact, Jesse, I don't know that it's possible. Can you look to see if we can pull up some special audio for that 2012 draft selection when the Kings selected Thomas Robinson?
Oh boy.
We'll see what we'll see who the Kings land with.
Let me know. I ain't gonna have to do anything. There's options.
Okay. There's an option I brought to the table, and y'all thought I was crazy.
There's 2 options.
Oh, 2. Okay. I can't wait for this, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up at about 3:20. Coming up at 3:10, we'll have your chance to win $1,000. Shohei Ohtani becomes a free agent in 2024. All-Star game tonight, available here on ESPN 1320, by the way.
Yeah.
What would Shohei Ohtani now? Obviously, he needs to continue on kind of the same trajectory that he is on right now. He needs to have the same type of play that he's having right now. But like, if Shohei Ohtani hit the market today, and this is baseball we're talking about, what do you think his value would be worth? Or that's a weird sentence. What do you think his value would be?
Off the top of my head, I feel like he'd be the highest paid player in the game.
I mean, and I think that's 30.
He would eclipse Mike
annually.
Trout.
I think it's like 36 and a half, somewhere there. It's so it's just so unique because he does two things, right? Like he hits and he pitches, and I think it's a fair question to ask because I feel like, sports people are always trying to, you can't do both. You got to do one or the other. But hypothetically say the Angels are in the World Series. It's a goofy sentence right now, but if the Angels are in the World Series and he's is it just business as usual? Like he's your game one pitcher and he's smashing home runs. We're just keeping at that.
Yeah.
Whew.
Ironically, like it's weird that he does this and it's such a big deal because I mean it's great, but well, I know why people haven't done it in the past because they haven't had the skill level to be able to do it. But I don't really understand why you wouldn't be able to pitch and play the field if you're capable.
I don't know that it's you can't. I think the conversation is more of just an increased risk of injury. Now, obviously, I understand you could get injured,
right?
Anytime, anywhere. Like I understand that, but I've always said and still very much believe that the most unnatural motion of, off the top of my head, any professional athlete that I can think of is that of a pitcher. Like you're throwing the ball seemingly as hard as you can, 90 to 100 to 110, 120 times a game. I know 120 is certainly on the higher end of a pitch count.
That would be crazy.
But, I mean, it happens. I mean, it's not far-fetched. Maybe it doesn't happen regularly. It's not happening, every start.
I'm saying, like, that's out of the norm.
It's not the most efficient outing.
We grew up, that's how we used to do it, but...
Yeah. Not we, because I certainly didn't.
What?
Are you going old man screaming at the clouds on us again?
Yeah.
I think that's all we're talking about is a potential increased risk of injury. This is a guy who already had Tommy John surgery. And I remember a couple of years ago how heartbroken I was because Shohei Ohtani was the reason I was watching. I wanted to learn about this kid. So he's pitching and he's hitting and he's doing both well. I'm locked in. He has, he gets hurt. He has the Tommy John surgery. And I know Tommy John surgery isn't as big of a deal as it used to be, but it did cost a chunk of his career. If you're in a pennant race or with the hypothetical that I just threw out there in the World Series, and you got a hitter who's 280, 290, and you got a pitcher who is arguably, or perhaps not arguably, your ace, I guess you just go with what brought you to the dance and you put him out there and hope you could get through the next 7 games or 6 games or 5 games or 4 games.
I mean, I definitely would. Who is the kid?
I guess at that point you can't change anything.
Is this the guy? I see Ramsey's talking about Michael Lorenzen for the Cincinnati Reds has done it in the past few seasons, but he pitched relief and had to designate which side of the ledger in 2021. Maybe that's not the kid. Who's the kid that was the superstar pitcher and hitter coming out of high school? As the number 1 draft pick, black kid. And I think they made him choose. They made him be a pitcher. And I think he's having Tommy John as well. But that's the type of kid where it seems like he has the talent to be able to do both. Why would they ever make him choose?
Again, I just think it's an increased risk of injury. That's all that I think that it is.
And then on top of that, I wouldn't choose him to be a pitcher.
You'd rather have him on the field every day,
yeah.
or probably more specifically, you'd rather have him in the lineup every day.
Absolutely. But I think, well, look, maybe this will be the new wave. Maybe this goes against conventional wisdom. Somebody bucked the system with what Ohtani's done. And maybe now when you have guys that are coming out of high school that are that good, they'll allow them to do both. Hopefully.
Well, Shohei Ohtani's deal
Hunter
is
Green. Thank you, Jonesy. Sorry about that. Hunter Green is the kid's name.
Shohei Ohtani agreed to a 2-year, $8.5 million deal before the start of the season. I think he's going to enter into arbitration in the 2023 season, and then he'll cash in 2024. He'll be 29 years old at the time, and he's due for a massive payday. Like we could see numbers for Shohei Ohtani. Again, that's a ways away.
Yeah.
That's 3 years away for a guy who was playing as much as Shohei Ohtani is. But we could see a contract for him unlike anything that we've seen before. Of course, I point this out again. Obviously, this is nothing that we want to see happen. This is a young man who's already had Tommy John surgery. And you mentioned the high school kid, him Hunter Green. You mentioned him and being made to pick. I heard John Smoltz say today on the Dan Patrick Show, and he didn't know this for sure, but he was confident enough to say it. And I don't know that he said it on a broadcast, or maybe he'll say it on the broadcast tonight. He thinks it's written into Ohtani's contract that he can do both.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay,
they were definitely gonna make him choose, and
yeah,
that's probably what he said. He said, "No, I'm coming over here to do both."
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know that you have that type of leverage when you're a high school kid, or whatever, or coming out of the farm system. But Shohei Ohtani had leverage, and he had it written in. At least the belief is he had it written in that he can continue to do both, and that the Angels wouldn't even ask him to do one or the other.
Man, like I would love to figure out why that is, though, and if this will change. I know I've asked you 3 times already. Why are they? And I understand, like, it's a question that neither one of us really have the answer to, but why they would make you choose. And I wonder if this changes now.
I think there's it feels like, you correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy John surgery feels more regular than it used to be. And it's not, it's like certainly
ACL almost,
kind of, right? And it's not a kiss of death. It's Tommy John. It's a surgery. It's lengthy, but we know how to deal with it now. Like, we know how to combat it. We know how to recover from it. We know how to get back. We know all of those things now. So it's a big deal, but it's not like a career ender. But it is a lengthy time out of the lineup. It's a lengthy time off the field. And I if you're choosing to pitch, I think it's more of, if you're a great hitter, we want you in the lineup every day.
Mm-hmm.
We want you contributing to our offense. And if you're a great pitcher, to go with being a great hitter, we'd probably rather have you on the field every day. I think that's why teams are being asked to or players are being asked to choose at least those unique few who could do it all. Of course, I'm just guessing. I have no idea. I've never been in any of these meetings.
Yeah. You know what? I just reached out. There's a baseball buddy of mine, used to be an agent out here. He wants to get in real quick. Jesse, be on the lookout for my man calling in. He would be able to answer this question for us.
Okay.
And he don't have to be here long, but he can answer this question.
Does he have a name?
Yeah, I'm a guy, Ryan Royster.
Okay.
You know Ryan. I think you know Ryan.
Okay.
You know Ryan. But yeah, he's
Ryan. You're listening to D-Lo and Casey on ESPN 1320, KIFM, West Sacramento, KRXQ, HD2 Sacramento, an Odyssey station, and driven by Lashers, Elk Grove, Dodge. We're redrafting the 2013 and 2012 drafts coming up at 310. That's going to be an adventure, Kings fans. I promise you that. As much of an adventure as Marc Stein's report today that the Kings are interested in Ben Simmons. Of course, they're one of a couple of teams that are interested in Ben Simmons, including Indiana, Toronto, and Cleveland. not exactly murderer's row right there of NBA teams, which led you and I into a conversation about can Ben Simmons help a contender or a team that's on the verge of contending? Like, what would, you know, we've talked about some of the, you know, various teams. Golden State was one that came to mind. Like, would Ben Simmons help Boston? You know, would he take them to a different level? By the way, speaking of Boston, Jason Tatum will not play tonight versus Argentina because of right knee soreness. He's day-to-day, says Team USA. If Brad Stevens isn't on the phone with Greg Popovich right now, or Grant Hill or whoever saying, or Jerry Colangelo, I don't know if Colangelo's still in charge for this round.
Yeah, this is the last little go round.
Gonna need you to send my man's home.
Ooh,
if he's missing extra, if he's
done.
home, send him home. Get him out of here.
You want him done? Don't even
done. Right knee soreness. Jason Tatum. Done.
Oh boy.
Your man's Ryan. Your man Ryan is on the line. Ryan, thanks for jumping in with us here, real quick. Did you have some thoughts on Shohei Ohtani and hitters or pitchers or?
Well, because he doesn't even know why I'm asking him to come on. But my man Ryan, he used to be, and I think he's still on the board or whatever, but he was definitely a baseball agent and would deal with these guys out of high school up through their major league career. So Ryan, I just wanted some clarification. We're having a discussion on Shohei Ohtani, pitching, hitting, you know, doing everything that he does on the field. And my question is, why isn't that more prevalent? Why, in the case that I made was Hunter Green. Hunter Green seemed to have that potential, and they made him choose. Like, why is the reasoning for that?
Yeah, and I watched Hunter since he was in high school. His pop said Sacramento Tides, actually, so shout out.
Okay.
But, yeah, so baseball is just a game. It's a game of specialization. So when we're talking about being a hitter at an elite level, what it takes to be good is literally all of your time. And then when you talk about being a pitcher at that level, the way that we're training our bodies, the time that you're putting into pitch development, command, arm strength, arm care, etc., it just takes all your time. It's like asking someone to do 2 full-time jobs that overlap.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So that overlap with your timeline. So you might be able to do, you know, work on, you know, have 2 jobs if they don't overlap. But if they overlap, it's just tough to do. Like, honestly, me watching yesterday, I was in a group text with a current executive of an MLB team and a current player who's not in the All-Star game. My boys, and we're texting, and we're worried the whole time, like, man, Ohtani, even if he wins this round, he needs to just call it, because that oblique needs to be protected if you got to pitch tomorrow. You know, like, no pitchers are putting their body through that type of rotational stress in the week leading up to their pitching, for example. You know what I mean? So I was literally getting nervous about watching him take that many violent swings trying to leave the yard in home run derby, and then having to pitch and hit tomorrow. I was like, man, I wanted to stop. Even if he wins this round, if he would have beat Soto, I would be like, just don't even hit no more. You know what I mean? But to me, it's specialization. I spent my whole life trying to become a good hitter. You know what I mean? I didn't have no time to also try to focus on pitching, and I was just all right. You know,
Right.
It's just tough. And you think about hitters, and you think about the minor league system, right? In baseball, and the minor league system being as that time, no pro club thinks you're ready to hit big league pitching out of high school, out of college. Almost nobody is ready to hit big league pitching. It takes so much time to be able to develop into a big league competitive hitter that I don't know any time where I could have focused on doing anything else. Shoot, I couldn't even keep a relationship going. I was trying to be a hitter, you know what I mean? That's kind of my thoughts on it.
Okay. All right, Ryan, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping in on short notice and sharing a couple of things with us. I mean, having no investment in it whatsoever, I cringed watching him swing like that last night.
Yeah.
I mean, and truthfully, not just Ohtani, like all of them. That's what I told you when you said, do you want Ohtani in the home run derby? No. I'm glad he was, by the way. I'm glad that he was, but in it, like, no, I don't want him in there. Like that's stress, man. That is violent. And I think it gets worse. You get tired. And I think it was nervous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
all eyes were on him. Like he knew it.
Yeah.
It was pressure, pressure to perform, pressure to show people to justify why you're getting all this attention and you're looked at as Showtime and all this other stuff, man. I thought he answered the bell, even with him not making it to the second round. I thought he showed up and performed. I was thoroughly entertained. I thought he did a great job.
Well, there was a stretch where he was well behind and he hit a couple, but then he hit like 4 in a row, 3 or 4 in a row. And like you heard the crack and right away, you knew with all those guys, crack, rah, crack, rah, third one, rah, like it just kept getting, it just progressively got, it was a movie. Like it got loud and then it got louder and then it got even louder and then he hit the last one and finally when he hits the sharp one down, the first base, it gets the but everyone in the park was, from the players to the fans, were super invested into Shohei Ohtani and him being at the plate last night.
Nah, man, that was some good stuff, man. And I just watched those home run derbies. First of all, they used to do 5 minutes. I'm glad they lowered it to 3 minutes. They may need to lower it again to like a minute and a half because you look at Ohtani.
I like the bonus thing. I like that.
I like the bonus. The bonus is cool. So if you have the bonus, you can do a minute and a half. And then if they get a certain number, get that extra bonus. But Ohtani was just exhausted. And I've seen these other guys, and they probably didn't show it as much. But I'm like, that's unbelievably tiring to be swinging the bat that much and that hard. And you got a guy like, this is the crazy thing about Pete Alonso, though, is he probably could have won another round. The way he was looking, like he was ready to go. He was ready to go. Oh, and by the way, did you see you see Major League Baseball? I guess I appreciate the attempt, but it's almost a failed attempt to be cool and hip with the spinning chain. Fam, that was 15 years ago.
You know what these kids like? They like spinners. I saw it in a rap video. It was fascinating. The car stopped and the wheel kept turning. The kids will love this. I saw that John Cena. He had the plate spun.
The spinning chain.
That was definitely a what year is this moment. They're trapped in the early 2000s. That's why this is why I'm hot was blaring in the background.
Was it really on?
No, I hope not.
Say, that would be ridiculous.
Pete Alonso deserved to win just for his music selection alone.
Yeah,
he had Nas and he had MOBB. Yeah, he was
ready to go. I will say that they had some cool people in the celebrity softball game.
I saw that on accident.
Yeah, I like that. I've always liked the celebrity softball game.
I saw the first thing I see too is because I have the TV on and I'm running around as the last few days have been just running around cleaning, picking stuff up, and I hear I feel like I'm hearing a promo. And I, look around the corner at the TV and yep, sure enough, there's the Miz screaming at the announcers. Like, all right, hey, that's what the Miz does. He cut a mainstream promo.
Yeah. I'm big on the celebrity softball. I like it.
I noticed as we were talking the name Simmons was trending on Twitter. And I thought,
moves being made?
Oh no! This is an earlier report.
Okay,
it's just everybody had a take on it, and I see our man John, who's enjoying the beaches of Hawaii right now. He says, I joke about Kings fans rioting, but if De'Aaron Fox is in any way a part of the Ben Simmons trade, Kings fans should absolutely riot. Fox is better than Simmons.
Yeah.
Our weather fam, Christina Warner, quote tweeted that if Fox is traded for Ben Simmons, I promise, all caps, I'm out. No more Kings for me. Totally done. Hallie too, honestly. Wow. I hope she wasn't listening earlier because
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
time for the Summer of Cash contest. Here's your chance to win $1,000. Your final opportunity of the day. Just text the code word draft to 72881. That's draft, as in Kenny Caraway's mock draft 4.0 is coming up tomorrow here on D-Lo and KC. Text 72881. Also, a redraft of the 2012-2013, both of them. Not the year, both the drafts, the 2012 and 2013 draft. Ben McLemore and Thomas Robinson. We will rid the Kings of those two selections.
That's a hell of a back-to-back right there. Jesus.
But who will take their spots?
I'm anxious to see that. But to piggyback on what you said before the word, we love De'Aaron Fox out here.
Oh, no doubt.
We will ride for De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
This is what are we going on now? Because I'm going to count the year or the summer before he was drafted, the way he ingratiated himself to the community. What are we going about 5 years, 6 years, 5.5 years?
Oh, that's 5. Yeah.
5. He's locked in for another 5. We're riding for De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, that's facts. Yep. No argument for me.
Did you hear that, Monty? We're riding for De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron's not a part of this. That'd be.
Of course he's not. But I'm just saying for future reference. Remember what I said earlier? I said it a couple of weeks ago or whatever. Hey, if you got to make a deal, that would hurt. I want this. Not only do I want this to work, want them to make the playoffs, I want it to happen with De'Aaron Fox. That is a major part of wanting to make this happen. I want it to happen with Fox.
I'm just looking. Yeah, I shouldn't have clicked on the Ben Simmons tweets. So let's put it in a box, okay?
Oh my
let's
gosh.
just put it away.
Put everything in life in a box right now. It just gets crazy.
I spent the weekend moving, man. All I know is boxes right now. So if we're throwing a few more things, that was my answer to everything. Just put it in a box. Just put it in the box and get it over there with. I'll figure it out later. And the 2013-2012 draft, they've been in boxes. Mark, do not open.
Oh no, we're opening them.
We're opening them. We're going to redraft. We're going to fix everything. I promise. And the Kings will finally land an all-star. Guarantee it. Charles Barkley style? Question mark? It's coming up here as D-Lo and Casey continue on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Oh, okay. All right. That's funny.
That is funny.
That's funny. All righty. Let's see here. Pulse. KC Thursday. Talents due.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What is this? Who sent us this poker pro, Eric? Somebody bet 2,000 on McGregor.
That's got to be Poker Pro that did that. He says it's not. I think it is.
Cole was out at Top Golf. I see you. I got to get back out to Top Golf.
That's down the street. I gotta go.
One time I went on Saturday on a Saturday afternoon, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna get up there. I'll be on the waiting list or whatever, but it's all good." So they were like, "Okay, yeah, Kenny, let me get your number. Cool. Yeah, that'll be 4 to 5 hour wait." And I was like, "Oh,
stop it.
Okay, great." I went all the way back to Elk Grove, and I was literally like, if they call me. Because I had a couple dollars in my pocket, I had gas in my tank. I was like, I'll drive back out there 5 hours later. They gave me that call 5 hours later. I was like, nah, I'm okay. Give my spot away. I'm not coming back out there.
Man,
so I got to do if I ever go to Top Golf, I got to do the reserve the time slot. That's a must. That's a mando.
Man, we come hang out here.
That's
I wonder how far it is.
I mean, before I didn't have nobody out there, so that is true.
How far that is, because I know I see it pretty quickly when I. Oh, fam. Oh yeah.
Oh, you just right there. I mean, hell, if that's the case, if I need to go to Thunder Valley, I can come out there too.
I'm like right there. Now Thunder Valley, I don't really understand.
Thunder Valley right by
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. I didn't realize I was that close.
It's like a exit up from Top Golf at least.
Yep. Come on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I get them alerts about them deliveries. Got a couple of deliveries. All right, let's see. This will be fun. No more money.
With the.
This is gonna be fun. These are gonna be so raggedy selection. These are gonna be so raggedy, but it's so indicative. It's gonna be funny.
Friday night.
The live stream doesn't like baseball, man.
Live stream needs to calm down.
It just, no, I don't. I mean, like you see the number falls off when we go baseball.
Yeah.
Like boy, you talk Kings, man. This city loves their Kings. It's 100% a basketball city. Yeah. Oh man. Dadas. No, I don't think they're the same. I think they're. I think the just the motion for baseball players is just so much more intense.
Frankly,
I don't blame you, frankly.
No, I do blame you, frankly, and I blame you, Damien. What are you guys doing not watching baseball?
I didn't say I didn't. I just said I don't blame him. All right, this is going to be uncomfortable. I'm just going to be honest with you. We've got the 2013 NBA redraft and the 2012 NBA redraft.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm glad for your excitement. It's like my excitement for the new Odyssey exclusive stations that are curated for sports listeners like you, for the summer soundtrack with the hundreds of new stations for summer barbecues, road trips, working out, or relaxing. Check out Heat in the Streets with music from Lil Baby Drake, Cardi B, and the hottest artists in the game right now. You find your favorite artists on Odyssey 2 on the all-new Artist radio stations. Check out the new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app, brought to you in part by Macy's.
Do you have any thoughts on Lil Baby? Are you? Yeah, I like Lil Baby. Yeah. I know everything. Well, you're frozen in front of me. Oh boy. We got this. We got this. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. The second round is trash. Usually there's a couple gems in the second round. I don't think any of these guys are in the league. I'm looking here. No. No, none of these guys are in the league. Mm. Damn. Mm. Yeah, that was my man Trey Burke, my man CJ McCollum as well. Yeah, he was the player of the year when he was in Michigan. Took him to the Final Four. Took him to the championship game. Trey was a beast. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Well, at 2, I think it has to be Rudy over CJ. Rudy's a 3-time defensive player of the year. That's kind of close, but I would go with Rudy. We're going Victor CJ. And I'm maybe this is cheating, but I'm gonna take the Victor Oladipo that we have right now off the board and just say, Vic before the injuries and stuff. Is that fair? So we got to take Vic right now, like today. All right, man. Well, it's CJ McCollum then. No. I mean, if we're going today, Tim Hardaway Jr. is better than Victor Oladipo today. I mean, Vic might go to the Kings if we're going today. Steven Adams? Yeah. Steven? Yes. That's close. Yeah. I mean, Schroeder's better than him right now. Yeah. Today, yes. So I think Schroeder goes 6. And now with the Kings selection at 7, I think you got a number of different guys here. We might have to crowdsource this one. You got a number of different guys. You got KCP. I think he needs to be in there. You got Vic. You got I would even say Trey Burke. And you got Nerlens Noel. And Victor Oladipo can't even play right now. I mean, not to say that it's done, but it might be on that same level of a Trey Burke, KCP, or Nerlens Noel. Right. So, okay. Jesse, what are you thinking right now?
I'm going Vic on this one, easy.
Going Vic easy.
Even when he comes back, he's still better than Contavious Caldwell-Pope.
That's where I'd go to. I'd go Victor Oladipo.
Okay. I'm not saying I wouldn't go Vic. I think it's a conversation, but I'm okay with Vic. I like Victor Oladipo. Once again, one of the great singers in the league today. Connected is my jam. Definitely being played at my wedding. They're connected. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ah. Mm-hmm. Whew. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's Anthony Davis. Rather easily. Yeah, there's consideration, but it's Anthony Davis. He's an NBA champion. Knocked out Dame head to head in a playoff situation. It's AD. I like Dame better than him, but I mean AD when he does play is a game changer. And yeah, I mean I think it's AD.
I think it's close. I personally would take Dame just because I feel like he's been the guy and like he's gotten them to the Western Conference Finals and stuff. AD, like he's like I said, he's right up there, but I would take Dame for the number one pick.
Well, if we're going by that, AD has a championship, and when they were head to head, he swept Dame out of the playoffs.
He had Braun too.
No, he swept them in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's done it twice, I guess. Well, no, the other one was a 5-game series with the Lakers. But in New Orleans, he swept them out there.
Okay. Man.
Let me crowdsource here. You guys, I don't know if you can follow along what's going on here, but right now, number one pick, 2012. It's down to two people, really. It's Anthony Davis and it's Damian Lillard. Who you guys got? I think I'm going with AD. Jesse is going with Anthony Davis. Dame, you're going with Anthony, or excuse me, Jesse's going with Dame Lillard. Damian Barley, you're going with Damian Lillard. Staying true here.
No, I think it's Anthony Davis too. I think it's AD.
I like Dame better than I like AD. I do. But if I'm being fair here, I think it's AD.
All right, so let's go AD at 1. That makes 2 pretty easy. It's Dame Lillard. I assume Bradley Beal is going to the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, he's going to stay with Washington.
So he goes to 3. So there's Brad at 3. In 4, Dion Waiters went to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who are we putting it for?
Is it Chris Middleton?
Yep.
No, I think it's Chris Middleton at 4.
Which means the Sacramento Kings select. Who do the Sacramento... Kenny, come on, man.
With the 5th pick in the 2012 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select
Draymond Green. Come on, man. Embrace it. Embrace it.
I mean, what am I embracing?
Well, if that doesn't do it for you,
with the 5th pick in the 2012 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Harrison Barnes.
Harrison Barnes is on the board. Harrison Barnes. Wait, there's more.
Oh.
With the 5th pick in the 2012 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Andre Drummond.
These mashups. I love these mashups.
I think the one that it's not is Andre Drummond.
We're just so sure about that it's not Andre Drummond.
I don't think it's Andre Drummond.
Jesse, you sure about that too?
Yeah, it's not Drummond.
Okay. Drummond is a couple times All-Star, right?
Yeah, 2 times.
All right.
Yep, he's been All-Star twice.
I think Drummond is a better player than Draymond Green. We talk about intangibles and all this other stuff, and what this is what I've been saying the whole time. Draymond goes to Detroit. We don't ever even hear from Draymond. We don't ever hear from Draymond.
Are we sure it's not? Are we sure it's not Jay Crowder?
I mean, Jay Crowder is in the conversation as well.
I brought up Jay Crowder's name earlier. I like him, but the answer is Draymond Green. For goodness sakes, the answer is Draymond Green. Stop it. Draymond Green is going to the Sacramento Kings. That's what it is.
With the 5th pick in the 2012 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select
Draymond Green. That's trash. There it is. You heard it. It's official.
Hey, so Draymond Green comes to Sacramento. What can we expect out of Draymond? What numbers he putting up? What are you doing for us? Not a damn thing.
Intangibles. I don't know.
We blew the draft. We blew it.
I'm not of the belief that Draymond's a terrible player on another team. I don't see that.
He's average at best. David says 4, 4, and 4. That's what we're getting from Draymond.
Well, no,
triple single. Philip says we're getting a triple single.
Y'all are cold, man.
I feel like it just comes down to who would you take right now, Barnes or Draymond?
It seems like Jesse was advocating for Harrison Barnes.
I don't think it's crazy.
I don't think it is either.
Right now, I don't think it's crazy.
Well, that's also a very clear distinction. Can I have my card back? Because we're talking right now.
No, you may not have your card back.
Drummond and Harrison Barnes are better than Draymond today.
Drummond's not. No. Drummond is not better than Draymond Green right now.
What is Draymond doing that makes us think that he's any good right now?
What's Andre Drummond doing?
Did you see what he did in Memphis? When that move he had in Memphis?
That one move?
That was on Shaq.
I saw him post up an imaginary post up on the sideline, and then I saw the Lakers season go to hell right after that. I saw that. I distinctively remember seeing that.
Well, look, even to that criteria, Harrison Barnes is better than Draymond today.
I actually think that's a fair discussion.
Are we? Is this the second play? Do we have a king that we already had before? Have we done that yet?
No, we missed out on Bogey.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. It was Bogey. That's right. It was
God. Missed out on Bogey.
Can I get my card back? I want Harrison Barnes.
With the fifth pick in the 2012 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Harrison Barnes.
There you go.
These things crack me up.
There you go. Okay, so, just to be clear, you're taking Harrison Barnes. Well, I guess Victor Oladipo was an all-star. Did we select? We selected Victor Oladipo. Yeah. There's your all-star.
First all-star. Guy can barely get on the court anymore.
And now we're not taking Draymond Green. We're taking Harrison Barnes, who some of y'all have been very eager to trade all season.
Yeah, they have. They've been on that.
So we went through 10, I guess we're closer to like 8 different drafts, and ultimately we get back into one that seemingly was loaded with all-stars and wind up selecting Harrison Barnes.
Look, and the funny thing is, even let's just, for argument's sake, say we took Draymond Green. That all-star is like a fringe, intangible type all-star guy. It's not like, 25 tonight, certified. Like it's not even that. We could never get one of those guys.
Yeah, that's true.
For whatever reason, we couldn't get one of those guys.
Maybe all we've established the last 2 weeks or whatever is everyone else was right and we were wrong and the Kings should tank. Because that's the only one that you're going to find.
Do we have any bucket getters on the Kings roster?
In the new and improved Kings roster?
Yeah.
I don't even know that is improved.
Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, that was your selection. That was solely.
Who else?
25 point.
We got Lonzo.
Not good guys.
We got Lonzo. We got Jared Allen. We got. I forgot who. Did we get Buddy again?
We got Levert. He can get buckets, can he?
Levert can't get buckets. I don't know if he can get 25, but he can get buckets.
We don't have what you want.
Oh man, we sorry, man. We sorry.
Are you keeping the coach?
Oh man, no.
We don't have the horses.
We
He don't have the horses. How do we blame the coach?
Someone tweet James Ham and tell him, yeah, no, we're sticking with it for another year. someone let James Ham know. This is essentially the tweet was, we're not firing Luke Walton.
Hey man, we can't fire him. You don't have the horses, man.
Bring it full circle. Do we have enough to get Ben Simmons?
Oh my God.
Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
The only way we could do it is going to be Michael Porter Jr.
Well,
what a disaster. We accomplished nothing with all of these mock drafts or redrafts. We accomplished absolutely nothing.
Let me see something real quick.
I don't even know that we greatly improved the team. How many of those guys would actually still be Kings had we drafted them? Exactly.
Who knows?
Given up on Harrison. Who knows? Who was the general? Oh yeah. We would have given up on so many of these picks. Michael Porter Jr. would already be on another team by now.
I will say this. Is what we did still better than Thomas Robinson and Michael Porter Jr.?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emphatically, yes.
You guys want to feel a little better, though?
Brutal back-to-back.
Want to feel just a little better? I went backwards. Went to 1985, that draft. The Kings had the 6th pick in that draft. They would have got a Hall of Famer.
The 6th pick in the 1985 draft. Who was it?
So we got Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, that left Shrimp, Karl Malone, Joe Dumars, Terry Porter's not really a Hall of Famer. Maybe it ends there. Did I just name 5 people?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. This ain't right. This is not fair.
Who are we taking?
Who knows? Probably Ed Pickney or something like that. I just named the 5 Hall of Famers, and we got the 6th pick. Come on, man.
King's cursed? Is that real? I've been reluctant to even. Maybe everyone else is right. Maybe the team is cursed.
This ain't right. This is not fair.
Maybe Arco Arena was built on just some unsavory, awful place, and the curses followed us all these years. We're in the wrong position every single draft, with the exception of one where we were in the right position and just made the wrong selection.
Jeez.
Well, we missed the selection with Dame Lillard too, so it's not exclusive to that one draft.
Well, I'll say this though. It's going to change this year, though. It's going to change. Change is coming.
I hope you're right, fam.
Uh-oh. I think they found one. I think the people found one. They said 1986 is a good one. Let me see here. The Kings.
1986.
The Kings at work. Do they even have? Oh, they're 17. There's no way there's 16 All-Stars in this draft.
Well, what year were they the number 1 pick?
87.
I know
and
that
it was the worst draft of all time.
But
88, maybe.
I know that was a bad draft, but really, no one?
No, I mean Sean Elliott. You could have got Sean Elliott there. Mookie Blaylock, Tim Hardaway. That Vladdy.
Oh, well.
And that's about it. Yikes. Dana Barrows.
I'm looking at it right now. So if we did 2011, we still wouldn't get a solidified All-Star.
Jesus.
Unreal.
What do we do to anybody to deserve this? What do we do? Is it a Kansas City curse? Taking their team?
Could be. There's obviously something because we're in the wrong spot. And the one time we get the number 1 pick, wrong draft.
The worst draft of all time.
Wrong draft.
Literally the worst draft of all time.
But at least, I guess, what's worse? Constantly being in, obviously the Kings have made poor draft selections. We're not absolving of them that. We just mentioned Thomas Robinson over Dame Lillard. Everyone has seen the tweet, the article, the soundbite, whatever, where Dame Lillard, I thought I was going to Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to Sacramento. He said it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So that it's not like, it's just a matter of draft positioning. But man, that's tough.
Rocky, we'll just say Rocky. He says DeMarcus Cousins is the best all-time, the Kings' best all-time draft pick. Do you agree with that? It's really
hard to argue.
It's between 2 people, to be honest with you.
Is the other one De'Aaron?
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah, that was De'Aaron.
De'Aaron. Okay.
And DeMarcus Cousins is a all-star and an Olympian, so maybe he has the inside track right now.
Yeah.
That brings up a good point. King drafted Page as well. Page was
there. You go.
Page was pretty. He was pretty damn good. It was a short period of time, but he was finished 3rd in MVP vote in one of those years or something. Wow.
Yeah, no, that's a good draft selection. How many years was it before he came over? Because he didn't come over right away, right?
No, I want to say it was probably 4 years because he was drafted. I didn't really even realize this until I saw that documentary, but he was drafted in '96. And he came over. If I had to guess, I'd say it was 99, 2000. And people are saying 3 years, 2 to 3 years. So maybe he was here in 98. But
it was a while. Bogey was 2 years, right?
Or Bogey might have been 3. Was he 2 or 3? I don't know. Might have been 2 or 3.
Well,
Mark Wong says he came over in the 98, 99 season. So that was a lockout season.
Well, let's just hope they fix it.
They're going to fix it this year, though.
Like
they're going to fix it.
Let's hope the 36-year trend. Well, that's not true. That's not fair because they did make some good draft selections. Obviously, as was just pointed out, DeMarcus Cousins being one. DeMarcus Cousins was a great draft selection who worked out really well. And I don't blame DeMarcus for things being the way that they were when he was here.
No, the draft
I have questions as to why things were the way that they were when he was here, but I don't know that I blame him for all of that. I don't understand why Isaiah Thomas and Rudy Gay and DeMarcus Cousins didn't work, or what? Phrased differently, why it didn't amount to wins.
Well, they always said they weren't even given the opportunity. They broke them up before they could find it out.
Well, they were 20-point game scorers, right? 20-point per game scorers, all three of them.
Yep. Oh, that was. I know a lot of people go back to Luka, and rightfully so, and pick swaps and all this other stuff. One of the ones for me is letting Isaiah Thomas go. I mean, that just the guy ended up being an MVP candidate. And you let him walk. He wanted to stay. He wasn't going to be that expensive. It wasn't like a max contract deal. And they let him go for Darren Collison.
Yeah. Brutal. Well, the draft is coming up 2 weeks from Thursday. Moses Moody has been a name that's referenced that we've heard all of the names over and over again. We'll get Kenny's. This is the penultimate draft. This is the second to last one. Before you're going to have a final draft.
Well, yeah, we got 3 more. We got 3 more. Because I got tomorrow, I got next week, and then the day before the draft.
Oh.
Yeah. So we got 3 more.
All right.
So
we're working on our draft day plans. By the way, we hope to be announcing them here pretty soon.
Absolutely.
They could be big.
Oh, baby, get ready.
They could be big. We're of course all waiting to find out. But it'll be exciting for sure. And I'm just stammering through words because everything in front of me is shut down and I'm literally staring at nothing. I'm staring off into the sky. Like the radio. If basketball gods are a thing, there are radio gods, and the radio gods hate me. Less so the radio guys, because we're good on the radio. If you're listening on 1320 AM or on the Odyssey.
StreamYard gods.
The streaming gods. They're like, F you.
I don't know why they did that to me, man. Everything was going smooth. It was good.
Yeah, I've got a lot. I want to punch something truthfully, which is dangerous because there's a lot of glass bottles behind.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't do that.
I feel like I'd feel so much better if I just grabbed something and threw it as far as I could.
Yeah.
I don't react to stuff like this very well, especially now that it's like 2 days in a row. And all of the other stuff that I dealt with over the weekend, it's like, really? We were 3 hours and 30 minutes into a 4-hour show. You didn't have 25 more minutes in you, huh?
Now, right. And now look here. There's another way to look at this, though. It could happen at 12:30.
It could have.
That would have been bad.
That would have been really bad.
And the people still hear you. They don't see you, but they still hear you on all platforms.
I think it's got that weird sound to it because everything is so manufactured there at the studio. Like I think it's not like a clear sound. It's a goofy sound. Are you excited? Like this is not a trick question. Like, are you excited for the All-Star game tonight?
I am looking forward to it. Excited might be a little strong. I'm not going to speak in hyperbole, but I'm I love the All-Star game. I said it earlier, and you thought I was saying it was one of the great days of the summer as growing up as a kid.
Yeah, no, I didn't. It just wasn't that for me. Like I didn't have that vibe for the All-Star game.
I loved it. Do you have a favorite All-Star game? Baseball All-Star game? One that sticks out? I think I know which one yours is.
Yeah.
89, Anaheim.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's the leadoff.
Yeah, and he gets it off Rick Russell. That didn't make me feel good as a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I'm sure it didn't. But it made little 8-year-old D'Lo pretty happy. Yeah, I was a Bo guy, and I remember him winning the MVP. That I can tell you. I'm just trying to think of when I was younger. That might be the only All-Star game like I distinctively remember. Like I really remember it. And part of it was because the leadoff home run.
That was a moment. Yeah, I mean, we talk about like
my guy.
Yeah.
We talk about moments, but it was a moment from my guy. So it felt special.
Well, we talk about Ohtani and how, all eyes are on him and he's, the star of this All-Star game. In 89, it was all eyes on Mo. And for him to come through the way he did to start the game, they couldn't ask for a better start. So I remember it painfully. I don't know why it's painfully. It was an All-Star game. Rick Russell, kind of inconsequential, in Giants lore, but it hurt. I was like, come on, man, Rick Russell, he started the All-Star game. Let's go. And he gives up a bomb.
It has a rather famous World Series too. Weren't y'all playing in the World Series that year?
Yeah.
Okay, so it can't be that painful. Like you ultimately got not the last laugh, but you certainly went further.
We didn't get any laugh. All right, I just remember balled up in the corner of my grandmother's den crying after Dennis Eckersley with that stupid fist pump and all that other stuff. It took me 20. I don't think you were listening when I said this. Jesse, when he was talking about his most devastating losses, he was like 2003, Aaron Boone. And then the next year, they win the World Series. Like, he got redemption, and everything was good right there. Damien and I had to wait 20-plus years to get over 1989. 20-plus years. Didn't even take him 20 months.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It doesn't sound like you're over it now.
I told you it is a stitch. It's like stitches. The scar is still there.
To be fair, I'm still not over Boone either.
Boy, baseball be hurting y'all, man.
Mr. Tappy in the house.
He's not over it either?
No, I think he's good.
Oh, okay. All right.
He said don't mention Babe Ruth, Jesse.
You think that's a real story. I hated Babe Ruth. Like, come on, why did Babe Ruth have to curse the Red Sox? Why? Like, that's real.
Oh, that's great. Unfortunate, but great. Coming up tomorrow, James Ham will be with us for his weekly visit. We'll pontificate with James Ham. We'll get his thoughts on the rumors that popped up today about the Kings being potential suitors for Ben Simmons and honestly what that may look like for the Sacramento Kings, at least from the eyes of James Ham. So we'll talk to him tomorrow coming up. That's at 3:20. We'll have Kenny Caraway's mock draft 4.0 coming up tomorrow as well. And, I'm with you. Not a sentence I expected to utter before the season started, but I'll be locked into the baseball All-Star game. Yeah. I'm not talking about having it on in the background. Like, I'll be watching, at least while Shohei Ohtani is out there. I can't promise I'm going to watch the whole thing. If they can hook me, my plan wasn't to watch the whole home run derby last night, but I got hooked.
It was some good stuff.
Yeah, part of that, Pete Alonso, Juan Soto, I wound up getting hooked, so I'm going to be looking for that hook tonight here during the All-Star game. But Shohei Ohtani has definitely put in.
Local vibes, no Gossman, no Buster Posey tonight. May see some other local guys, though.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, we'll dive into all of that tomorrow. We appreciate you for being with us. If you're still on the stream, hit the thumbs up before you go. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. If you're on the Odyssey app, hit the heart button. Save us as your favorite radio station. Just make sure that you're back here tomorrow at noon on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320.
T-Lo and JC. T-Lo and JC. Streaming live on the Odyssey app and on your...
All right, that's it.
We good.
I gotta figure out how to deal with this. I had a meeting with the kids, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to. Thing is just dead. So yeah, I don't know if y'all are on the live stream. Sorry, I honest to God don't know what happened. So I'll spend the evening trying to figure it out.
We got it, man. It's technology. We'll figure it out. We figured out this whole show, how to broadcast all this stuff. So we'll figure it out. It ain't no thing. It ain't no thing.
All right. Love y'all on the live stream. We'll see you tomorrow at noon.
Holla.